Chapter 38. Because of his posture, Xinyu was a bit taller than Shang Junlin. He lowered his head and met the man's eyes. There was no anger, no dissatisfaction. There was only a faint confusion and indulgence that could drown a person. Xinyu couldn't say what he wanted to say. "Your Majesty, please stand up." No one would believe that the man who was half-squatting in front of Xinyu was the Emperor of Dahuan, famous for his cruelty and ruthlessness. "Is you still angry at Zhen?" Shang Junlin didn't move. "Zhen doesn't know how to get along with people. If there's anything that makes you uncomfortable, you must tell Zhen." No matter how angry Xinyu was, he couldn't get angry. Xinyu wasn't really angry. He just wanted to use this opportunity to distance himself from Shang Junlin. "Actually, I'm not that angry." Xinyu looked into the man's dark eyes. "Your Majesty, I just hope that in your Majesty's heart, I will first be Xinyu, then Xin Guijun." The former meant that he belonged to himself. The latter meant that he belonged to Shang Junlin. If it's the former, what will Guijun do? If it's the latter, what will happen? Shang Junlin asked. "If it's the former, your Majesty may have to endure my anger from time to time. If it's the latter, your Majesty will get a qualified Guijun." But there was nothing more. Understanding the meaning of Xinyu's words, Shang Junlin said, "Zhen will pay attention in the future. In Zhen's eyes, you will always be a you." Xinyu didn't know how to feel about Shang Junlin's choice. If Shang Junlin chose the latter, he could draw a line between him and Shang Junlin without any reluctance. But Shang Junlin chose the former. And he didn't even think about it. This meant that Shang Junlin had always thought this way. That was why he gave this answer at the first moment. Shang Junlin had made his choice, but what about him? Xinyu silently described Shang Junlin's facial features in his heart. The throbbing of his first meeting with Shang Junlin was triggered again. In this life, what would happen between him and Shang Junlin? Xinyu slowly lowered his eyes. His voice was as light as a feather. "I know." "What about me?" Shang Junlin gently pinched Xinyu's chin. "What am I in a Yu's heart? Her Majesty is Her Majesty." Xinyu looked away. His Majesty was different from others and unique. "Your Majesty, can you get up now?" Xinyu moved to the side of the soft couch to make room for Shang Junlin. Shang Junlin moved from Lu Rushan to Xinyu's side, and took the initiative to talk to Xinyu about the progress of Prince Huayu's matter. Prince Huayu is very cooperative. According to the list he gave, it has been confirmed that most of the princes are not of the late emperor's blood. There are still some princes who are not of the late emperor's blood. Speaking of his biological father being cuckolded, Shang Junlin's tone didn't fluctuate at all. He didn't have any brotherly feelings for the late emperor's children. It's been decades. It shouldn't be easy to confirm. Things like blood were always the easiest to tamper with and the most difficult to find out. The method of blood identification is not reliable. Xinyu reminded. "I know. The result of blood identification is only one of the supporting methods. The real confirmation is not based on this method." Shang Junlin held Xinyu's fingers and played with them. "This is all thanks to Prince Huayu. He left enough evidence when he did those things." Xinyu was shocked. He left evidence? Wasn't he afraid of being discovered? He probably also wanted to be discovered by the late emperor. Who would have thought that the late emperor didn't suspect anything at all? Shang Junlin was speechless. There were many beauties in the late emperor's harem and many children. He didn't care about those who didn't look like him. He was only interested in pleasure. In a situation where there were new beauties all the time, except for some who were especially favored, he couldn't remember how many times he did it in a year. The late emperor really had a big heart. Xinyu didn't know what to say. It was noon. The two chatted for a while, and Xinyu was a little sleepy. Shang Junlin looked at the sky and stopped talking. "You should take a nap." "What about His Majesty?" Xinyu nestled in the man's warm arms and didn't want to move. Although it was the beginning of spring, the weather was still not warm. It didn't change much compared to before the new year. Xinyu's body was cold, so she had to make the room very warm. Shang Junlin was young and energetic, so sometimes he would feel hot. Every time this happened, Xinyu especially liked to stay close to Shang Junlin. He was like a human-shaped big heater. "I'll stay here with you." Xinyu was satisfied. She half closed her eyes and said softly, "Your Majesty, carry me to the bed." Okay. As soon as Shang Junlin finished speaking, Xinyu felt herself being lifted into the air. A pair of strong arms held her firmly. Then the man started walking. After putting Xinyu on the bed, Shang Junlin didn't call the palace servants. He personally took off Xinyu's outer clothes and put her under the quilt. Xinyu listened to the rustling sound of clothes rubbing against each other beside the bed. Her consciousness gradually fell into chaos. In her sleep, she felt the source of heat approaching. Xinyu couldn't help but lean over. She found a comfortable position in the man's arms and fell into a deep sleep. Shang Junlin looked down at the young man lying in his arms. He slowly approached the young man and planted a light kiss on his forehead. Shang Junlin didn't have the habit of taking a nap. He quietly looked at the young man sleeping in his arms. His eyes were full of tenderness that he didn't realize. "Your Majesty." After an unknown amount of time, Eunuch Meng carefully opened the door and said softly. Shang Junlin gently got up, casually put on his clothes, and walked out of the room. He asked, "What's the matter?" "Prime Minister Wang wants to see you. He said it's urgent." Eunuch Meng lowered his voice to avoid waking Xinyu. "Let him wait in the imperial study. I'll be there soon." "Yes." Shang Junlin didn't leave for long. He returned to Yuzhang Palace before Xinyu woke up. When Xinyu woke up, Shang Junlin was sitting by the bed and reading a booklet. "Has your Majesty been sitting here the whole time?" Xinyu's voice was low and hoarse from just waking up. It was very different from usual. "No, I just went out." Shang Junlin put down the booklet. "Is there something important?" "If there is something important, your Majesty doesn't have to stay here." Xinyu sat up and slowly began to put on her clothes. "It's about Prince Huayu. The Prime Minister said that he found some men who are suspected to be the fathers of the former princes. This was the reason why Prime Minister Wang had entered the palace to seek an audience. They had all tacitly agreed that the people who had cheated on the previous emperor were no longer around. When they suddenly found out that those people were still alive, they didn't know how to continue. Prime Minister Wang had no choice but to personally enter the palace to seek an audience and ask Shang Junlin to make a decision. Xinyu instantly woke up and said in disbelief, "Those people are still alive?" What was Prince Huayu thinking? He couldn't have wanted to take these people to see the former emperor and directly anger him to death. Shang Junlin, "I didn't expect Prince Huayu to keep those people alive." Xinyu, "What about those men? They were originally, how did they enter the palace to meet with the concubines? Even with Prince Huayu's help, it's not so easy to escape unscathed." Shang Junlin, "I'm afraid only Prince Huayu himself knows about this matter." Prime Minister Wang was mainly responsible for solving the problem of the former emperor's bloodline. The one who dealt with Prince Huayu's matter was Lord Fong, who was in charge of Censor Zhang's case last time. Lord Fong exhausted all means, but didn't get any useful information from Prince Huayu. "Aren't you just relying on the fact that we don't dare to torture you? This official wants to see how long you can be stubborn for." After another interrogation, Lord Fong was so angry that he almost scolded. If it weren't for Prince Huayu's poor health, why would they torture him like this? "He still won't say anything?" A majestic voice sounded. Lord Fong and the others turned around and respectfully saluted, "Your Majesty." When he saw the young man in an indigo cloak standing beside Shang Junlin, Lord Fong hesitated for a moment before opening his mouth, "Your Majesty." The rest of the people looked at each other and saluted with a confused face. "Get up." Shang Junlin led Xinyu into the prison. Was this the rumored Shen Guijun who was extremely favored by His Majesty? Many people were curious and couldn't help but quietly look at the young man walking beside the black-clothed emperor. The young man was almost completely covered in a cloak, and only his white and delicate chin could be seen through the hat. Aware of these secret glances, Shang Junlin looked back with a slight warning. Everyone suddenly withdrew their gazes and looked down, not daring to look at him carelessly. Lord Fong, who took in this scene, sighed in his heart. His Majesty obviously cares a lot about Shen Guijun. I don't know where the rumors outside the palace came from, but looking at the way they get along, It doesn't seem like Shen Guijun has fallen out of favor. I have something to ask Prince Huayu. You can leave first. Yes. After everyone left, Shang Junlin helped Xinyu take off his hat. Xinyu walked to Prince Huayu. Prince Huayu, do you still remember me? Prince Huayu's condition was worse than the last time they met. Xinyu could feel that his vitality was flowing away rapidly. Rather than saying that Prince Huayu was dying of illness, it was better to say that he was giving up on himself. Once a seriously ill person lost his desire to live, his vitality would be like a flood that had opened the floodgates. It flowed quickly, and no medicine could cure it. The child of Duke Shenbei? Prince Huayu struggled to open his eyes. He didn't even look at Shang Junlin, but stared at Xinyu. I told you last time that no one in the imperial family is good. Look, aren't you abandoned by your good majesty? Where did you hear these false rumors? Xinyu held Shang Junlin's hand and waved it in front of Prince Huayu. We are very good, Prince Huayu doesn't need to worry. Prince Huayu's face was dirty. He squinted his eyes and looked up from their hands. After a long while he withdrew his gaze with disinterest. Okay, what do you want to ask me this time? I advise you not to waste your energy. Isn't the matter very clear? Just punish me according to the law. Living one more day is one more day of suffering for me. Xinyu and Shang Junlin looked at each other, knowing that it was unlikely that they would be able to find out the person behind the scenes. Xinyu thought about it and asked an unexpected question. Does Prince Huayu know my mother? I don't know her. I haven't said who my mother is yet. How can Prince Huayu answer so simply? Xinyu had been paying attention to Prince Huayu's expression after asking, so he didn't miss the flash of surprise on his face. Prince Huayu actually knew his mother. Xinyu's grip on Shang Junlin's hand tightened. Sensing the change in his mood, Shang Junlin held his hand tightly in comfort, as if he was comforting him silently. Xinyu calmed down and continued to ask, wanting to find out some clues about his mother. For 2 lifetimes, he still didn't know what kind of person his mother was. It would be a lie to say that he didn't care. However, no matter how Xinyu asked, Prince Huayu refused to speak. Left with no choice, Xinyu had to give up. Since Prince Huayu doesn't want to answer this question, can you solve another doubt for me? Xinyu lowered his eyes. Why did Prince Huayu keep those men? Because I want to take these people to my good brother one day, and tell him that the children he dotes on the most are not his biological children. Not only that, I want to make him doubt that all his children are not his biological children. I want to make him feel that his life is a joke. Prince Huayu seemed to have gone mad. It's best to do it when he is terminally ill, lying on the dragon bed and unable to move. He can only stare at me with his eyes wide open. One is to identify which prince's father he is, and which prince's father he is. Ha 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 ha. That scene must be very interesting. What a pity, he died before my plan could be implemented. How could he die? I spent decades preparing such a big show for him. How could he die without even looking at it? Chapter 39. Hearing Prince Huayu's words, Xinyu looked at Shang Junlin worriedly. No matter what the relationship between the two of them was, the late emperor was still Shang Junlin's father. In front of the child, it would definitely make people feel uncomfortable to talk about how he had given his father a green hat. Shang Junlin's expression didn't show any abnormality. Seeing Xinyu looking at him, he whispered, You don't worry. To be honest, I also want to see the scene described by Prince Huayu. Shang Junlin really didn't have the slightest bit of father-son relationship with the late emperor. Since ancient times, the father was benevolent and the son was filial. If the father didn't give the son love, but killing intent time and time again, no one would have any feelings of admiration for such a father. What's more, Shang Junlin lowered his eyes to hide the rolling black emotions in his eyes. There was still a blood feud between him and the previous emperor that was separated by an entire mother's clan. When Prince Huayu had said enough, he slowly stopped and looked at Xinyu with his turbid eyes. Shang Junlin is my good brother's son. He might be like my good brother. You little kid, don't throw your heart at him. Xinyu didn't know why Prince Huayu still refused to give up persuading him at this time. Just as he was about to speak, Prince Huayu continued, Don't take it lightly. Before my good brother ascended the throne, he was also deeply in love with Shang Junlin's mother. But look at the result. No matter how many vows he made, it can't keep up with the speed of change in a person's heart. The late emperor ascended the throne at the same time as the empress. The deep love between the empress and the empress was envied by many people. But no matter how deep the love is, it can't beat the passage of time. In just 5 years, the vows were completely forgotten. If there is a first betrayal, there will be countless more. I tried to persuade her at that time, but she didn't listen to me. She plunged into the carefully woven gentle trap and dragged the whole family down. Are you done, Prince Huayu? Shang Junlin's cold voice sounded. Half of that person's blood flows in your veins. Do you really think you can escape the shackles of your bloodline? Take a look at the children left behind by the late emperor. Which one of them didn't harm others? Don't think that I'm trying to scare you. Nature is something that can't be changed. In the blood of the Shang clan, there is a sense of fickleness. What about Prince Huayu? Haven't you not changed after all these years? People are people. It's because we can restrain our nature. A normal person knows what to do and what not to do. People who don't know how to behave shouldn't use nature as an excuse. Shen Yu disagreed with Prince Huayu's words. Your words are interesting, perhaps. As if his last breath of life had dissipated, Prince Huayu became even more dispirited. You don't have to waste your time with me. Let's end this matter here. Don't continue investigating. After saying this, Prince Huayu closed his eyes, unwilling to speak again. Shang Junlin took Shen Yu to vent his anger. When they passed by Lord Feng, he said, "There's no need to interrogate him." Lord Feng didn't understand, but still respectfully responded, "Yes." Walking out of the prison built with iron walls, they walked towards the warm spring scenery. The warmth brought by the sun dispelled the chill brought by the prison. Finally feeling the warmth, Shen Yu breathed a sigh of relief. It's still more comfortable outside. I already told you that the dark prison is cold, and that you shouldn't follow me. You didn't listen. If I didn't go, Prince Huayu definitely wouldn't say anything. Your Majesty, Prince Huayu seems to really know my mother. Finally finding a clue, Shen Yu didn't want to give up. I've sent people to investigate Shen Yu before, but they didn't find much useful information. According to the palace servants who knew her, her temperament suddenly changed one day. I don't know if it was because she heard some news. Shang Junlin said. Presumably, the watershed was the day when the current Shen Yu crossed over. The original Shen Yu might know something, but the current Shen Yu might not. Your Majesty, where is Shen Yu now? The last time they met, Shen Yu promised to save Shen Yu. In order not to break his promise, Shen Yu told Shang Junlin about this matter. As for where Shang Junlin arranged for Shen Yu to be, Shen Yu didn't ask. Shang Junlin. I sent her to the old imperial concubine. Her temperament is too jumpy, and it's easy for her to cause trouble elsewhere. Shen Yu. The old imperial concubine? Shang Junlin. She's one of imperial grandfather's concubines. I was indebted to her when I was young, so I found a secluded place in the palace for her to live. Your Majesty, don't mind Prince Huayu's words. Shen Yu stopped and grabbed Shang Junlin's hand. According to Prince Huayu's words, my father is like Duke Zhenbei. Do you think I'm the same as Duke Zhenbei? You and Duke Zhenbei are naturally different. Shang Junlin answered without hesitation. In his eyes, Duke Zhenbei couldn't be compared to Shen Yu's finger. So your Majesty is also different from the late emperor. Shen Yu didn't want Shang Junlin to be traumatized by Prince Huayu's words. Your Majesty is only your Majesty. What happened to the late emperor has nothing to do with your Majesty. Yu is worried that I'll think too much. Shang Junlin gently clasped Shen Yu's hand in his palm. Don't worry. I already know what kind of person the late emperor is, and I won't allow myself to be like him. After the efforts of Prime Minister Wang and Lord Feng, the mighty case of Prince Huayu finally came to an end. The ministers had a fierce quarrel about whether to announce the truth of Prince Huayu's case to the public. Some felt that it must be announced, while others felt that it shouldn't be announced. After all, it was related to the royal family's reputation. If it was announced, the royal family's deterrence would be greatly reduced, which was extremely detrimental to the stability of the royal family's regime. Shang Junlin was annoyed by their quarrel, so he simply announced that the court was dismissed. Your Majesty. After the court was dismissed, Prime Minister Wang asked to see him alone. How should we deal with those men? Shang Junlin. Prime Minister, what do you think? Prime Minister Wang. I think that these men deliberately mixed up the royal bloodline and should be punished. Shang Junlin. Since Prime Minister has an idea, then we'll do as you say. Prime Minister Wang. Yes, there's one more thing. How should we deal with the rest of the people who were found not to be princes? Shang Junlin. If they didn't commit any crime, they will be stripped of their royal status and demoted to white coat, and their 3 generations can't be officials. As for the details, Prime Minister, it's up to you. Prime Minister Wang took the order and left. In any case, those who occupied the royal status and were not the sons of the late emperor needed to return the status that didn't belong to them. Those dead princes also needed to be moved out of the imperial mausoleum and buried elsewhere. After handing over the matter, Shang Junlin no longer asked about the matter. The mistake made by the late emperor should not be paid for by him. After some discussion, they finally didn't announce all of Prince Huayu's crimes to the public, and only selected a portion that was convenient to disclose. In particular, the matter of the late emperor's sons was completely concealed and not announced to the public. In the tea houses and taverns, countless people were talking about this matter enthusiastically. Have you heard? About Prince Huayu, the former Prince Huayu? I heard about it, but I didn't expect it. Prince Huayu, who has always kept a low profile, actually planned in private for decades. If it weren't for His Majesty's wisdom, who saw through his scheme, who knows what would have happened? I don't want to go through the turmoil of more than 10 years ago again. Yes, the current emperor is still the best. Think about it. Since His Majesty took the throne, how many peaceful days have we had? We don't have to worry about the enemy attacking the city gates all the time. There's also the Qian family. The Qian family has been abusing their power in the capital before, and His Majesty also punished them. Didn't someone say that His Majesty wouldn't punish the Qian family because they were clinging on to Prince Li? In my opinion, it's just that His Majesty didn't punish them. Exactly. I heard that Prince Li hasn't been having a good time recently. He was even grounded during the new year. Exactly. It doesn't matter if you're a relative of the emperor or not. As long as you commit a crime, His Majesty will punish you accordingly. Judging from the recent cases, His Majesty has a reason for arresting people. Do you think that the officials that His Majesty dealt with before were also problematic? This isn't impossible. Think about it. Before Censor Zhang's case was announced, didn't we all think that Censor Zhang was innocent? In the end, no one is innocent but him. On the second floor of the tea house, a young man in a light blue robe stood by the window and listened to the discussions below. Huaiqing, what are you looking at? Another young man in a light blue robe walked over and asked, Brother Qingyu, what kind of person do you think His Majesty is? His Majesty, this depends on which aspect you're asking. If you look at the Great Huan Kingdom as a whole, His Majesty is a very qualified emperor. Under his rule, the Great Huan Sea is peaceful and the foreign enemies don't dare to enter. These are all facts. But if you were His Majesty's subject, I'm afraid it would be a bit of a headache. What do you mean? You've heard the discussions below. Before Censor Zhang's case, His Majesty didn't give a reason to arrest people or punish them directly. Over time, there were rumors that His Majesty was cruel and heartless. This time, I don't know who influenced His Majesty to tell the truth to the world. It seems that Brother Qingyu has a good impression of His Majesty. Of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come all the way to the capital to take the exam. After the beginning of spring, there was a continuous stream of foreign examinees coming to the capital to take the exam. These examinees gradually became more and more lively. Xinyu also heard the news from Shang Junlin. They're here so early? There was still some time before the spring imperial examination, but there were already people in the capital. Xinyu was a little surprised. It's like this every year. Some people will specially come in advance to adapt to the environment, so that they won't perform improperly due to not adapting to the environment, Shang Junlin explained. Xinyu climbed out of Shang Junlin's arms, his eyes sparkling. Then won't the capital become more and more lively? There will also be many restaurants, tea houses, bookstores, and so on specially prepared for students. Do you want to take a look? Looking at Shen Yu's sparkling eyes, Shang Junlin couldn't help but laugh. Shen Yu hurriedly nodded. If I miss this opportunity, I'll have to wait another 3 years for the next one, Your Majesty. Shen Yu deliberately dragged out the last syllable, like a hook that tickled people's hearts. Shang Junlin pressed down the hand that was messing around on his shoulder and gently squeezed it. I took the initiative to bring you out. Didn't you say you wanted to go to the countryside last time? Let Mushi pack a few sets of clothes. We'll stay outside for 2 days. The unexpected joy came too quickly. Shen Yu's eyes were full of shock. So Your Majesty has been busy with this matter these days? I've wronged Your Majesty. Shang Junlin smiled and approached. Then you. How do you want to express your gratitude? How about giving me a kiss? Chapter 40. Is that so? Shen Yu quickly leaned forward and pecked Shang Junlin's face. Before Shang Junlin could react, Shen Yu had already retreated to his original position. This time, it was Shang Junlin's turn to be stunned. He just casually said it and didn't really want to take the opportunity to make Shen Yu do anything. Between him and Shen Yu, he was almost used to being rejected 8 or 9 times out of 10. Shang Junlin didn't even have time to react before the kiss ended. Shang Junlin's expression was stiff as he looked at the young man beside him. Shen Yu was still wearing light-colored clothes. Because they were indoors, he didn't wear a cloak with a fur collar. His palm-sized face seemed to be shining under the sunlight, and his eyes flashed with craftiness. Shang Junlin was helpless. At this time, how could he not understand that Shen Yu did it on purpose? He knew that Shen Yu didn't mean that, and the kiss he wanted wasn't a light touch on the cheek. However, he said a kiss, and Shen Yu really only kissed him once. He said that he had done it, and he had indeed done it, but it made him feel empty. I've done what Your Majesty wants. Your Majesty, you can't use this matter to make me do anything next time. Shen Yu blinked with an innocent face. When have I ever made things difficult for you? Shang Junlin raised his eyebrows slightly. Last time, I clearly said that I didn't want to do it, but you still didn't let me go. There was a reason why Shen Yu didn't agree to Shang Junlin's request. Shang Junlin had been going on for too long, and refused to stop when he asked him to stop. After that time in the bathhouse, Shang Junlin occasionally wanted to move, but Shen Yu didn't agree when he thought about the consequences of that time. Why is Your Majesty so vengeful? Shang Junlin pinched Shen Yu's finger suggestively. As if he had lit a fire, his fingertips began to burn. Shen Yu silently retracted his fingers. He tried to escape, but the man held him even tighter. Shen Yu looked up and saw that the man's face was serious. Only the dark color in his eyes revealed his true thoughts. If this continued, who knew what would happen? Shen Yu stood up from the soft couch as if he was scalded. I suddenly remembered that the kitchen prepared some new snacks. I'll go see why they haven't been served yet. Shang Junlin looked at Shen Yu's slightly flustered back and laughed. The man's gaze was so intense that it was impossible to ignore it. It wasn't until he stepped out of the door that feeling disappeared. Why did Noble Lord come out? Seeing Shen Yu come out, Eunuch Meng, who had been waiting outside the door, was surprised. Most of the time, in order to be alone with Shen Yu, Shang Junlin didn't let the palace servants serve him in the room. Shen Yu wasn't used to being surrounded by palace servants all day long, so he agreed with Shang Junlin's approach. I came to see if the snacks that the kitchen said were ready. Shen Yu didn't show any panic on his face. Is Your Majesty talking about the new snacks developed by the kitchen? It's already ready. It's just that I didn't want to disturb Your Majesty and Your Majesty, so I asked them to wait first. Let them serve it. Your Majesty is hungry. Shen Yu mercilessly put the blame on Shang Junlin. Eunuch Meng didn't suspect anything and went to give the order. After staying outside for a while, Shen Yu felt that he had calmed down. Then he turned around and entered the room. Shang Junlin didn't move when he left. When he saw Shen Yu come in, the smile in his eyes deepened. Your Majesty, the people from the kitchen will be here soon. Shen Yu reminded Shang Junlin that there would be outsiders coming soon, so he shouldn't act recklessly like before. What does your majesty think I was going to do? Shang Junlin looked at Xinyu with interest. Knowing that the people from the kitchen would be here soon, Shang Junlin wouldn't act recklessly. Xinyu became bolder. Your majesty, do you want to kiss me? Hug me? Or me? Xinyu said the last few words in a very low voice, but Shang Junlin still heard every word clearly. He put down the book in his hand, stood up from the soft couch, and approached Xinyu step by step. Oh, it seems that your majesty is very clear about my thoughts. Does your majesty intend to satisfy me? The man approached with a biting cold aura, as if he had released the restraint of the beast in his heart, and the sense of invasion came to him. The man's breath was getting closer and closer. Xinyu had to reach out to the man's chest to stop him from getting closer. Shang Junlin lowered his head. His hot breath lingered on the sensitive skin of Xinyu's neck, causing him to shiver. Your majesty, someone is coming. Xinyu's voice suddenly stopped. He could feel something warm gently touching the side of his neck. It was Shang Junlin's lips. It was as if he was responding to Xinyu's lips on his face. The crimson color spread from his neck to his cheeks little by little. Not long after, Xinyu. His whole face was red. His jade-like skin was dyed with crimson, like a ripe fruit, tempting to taste. Shang Junlin's eyes were getting deeper and deeper. He lifted Xinyu's chin, and the distance between them was getting closer and closer. Xinyu watched the man's handsome face grow bigger and bigger in front of his eyes. His own reflection was clearly reflected in those eyes, as if he was inadvertently sucked in. There was no end to the world, only you and me. Xinyu didn't refuse as if he was bewitched. He let Shang Junlin continue to shorten the distance between them. Xinyu could feel the arm around his waist getting tighter and tighter. He didn't close his eyes and stared blankly at the approaching man. You can I? Between breaths, he heard the man's magnetic voice. Xinyu nodded slightly. Shang Junlin was about to kiss him when he was interrupted by a sudden voice. Your majesty, the snacks are served. It was Eunuch Meng's voice. Xinyu suddenly came back to his senses and pushed Shang Junlin in a panic. Shang Junlin was unprepared and was pushed back a step. The two of them looked at each other. The ambiguous atmosphere gradually dissipated in a slightly awkward silence. Both of them knew that it was impossible to continue. Shang Junlin said with a dark face, "Get in here." Uffed. Xinyu laughed so hard that he trembled. He leaned his forehead on Shang Junlin's shoulder and said, Your Majesty, you can't blame me this time. You can only blame the people in the small kitchen for coming at the right time. Eunuch Meng could hear the strong displeasure in Shang Junlin's voice. He was confused. Wasn't His Majesty hungry? Why was he angry when the people in the small kitchen delivered the snacks? Eunuch Meng didn't dare to delay. He led the palace servants to bring the snacks to the table one by one. Xinyu was still laughing. He didn't know why, but the more he thought about it, the more he wanted to laugh. Don't laugh. Shang Junlin said helplessly and patted Xinyu's back. All kinds of pastries were placed on the table. The unique fragrance of the pastries wafted out. Xinyu finally remembered that he was the one who asked for the pastries. He stopped laughing and held Shang Junlin's shoulder to look at the table. Red, green, white, round, square, fruit. Each type of snack was only half the size of a palm. The table was full of them. Xinyu's eyes lit up. The skills of the imperial chef who made the snacks in the small kitchen were superb. This was a skill that had been passed down from generation to generation. Because Shang Junlin did not have high requirements for food, this person's skills had never been able to be displayed until Xinyu entered the palace and dug him out from the group of chefs. In order to appreciate his talent being appreciated, this person knew that Xinyu liked all kinds of pastries. After coming to Yuzhang Palace, this person devoted himself to making pastries. Sweet, salty, sour. There were all kinds of flavors. The pastries placed on the table today were the results of his research during this period of time. Xinyu deliberately asked Shang Junlin the time, and found a more free time to share the new pastries with him. But he didn't expect to interrupt that thing. After the pastries were placed, the palace servants left one after another. Eunuch Meng glanced at the emperor who was dissatisfied and silently left. He seemed to have interrupted the emperor's good thing. Eunuch Meng retreated outside the room, closed the door and sighed. Young people are full of energy. Xin Yu poked Shang Junlin, who was still unhappy. Your Majesty, come and try the new pastries produced by the small kitchen. I specially saved them to taste with you. Hearing Xin Yu's words, Shang Junlin's face began to look better. He held Xin Yu's hand and walked to the table to sit down. Although the kiss he wanted was interrupted, Xin Yu still thought of him and everything, even sharing his favorite pastries with him. Thinking of this, Shang Junlin's heart felt a lot better. Xin Yu's soul had already been hooked by the sweet fragrance of the pastries. As soon as he sat down, he couldn't wait to pick up the chopsticks and put a piece into his mouth. Oh, delicious. Eat slowly, there's still a lot. Shang Junlin wiped the sugar stains from Xin Yu's mouth and looked at Xin Yu attentively. He didn't move his chopsticks. Perhaps because he needed to drink bitter medicine all year round. Xin Yu was obsessed with sweets. After Shang Junlin knew his preference, he ordered eunuch Meng to find the imperial chef who was good at making sweets in the palace, and send them to Yuzhong Palace to make different kinds of sweets for Xin Yu every day. However, the amount of sweets he could eat every day was strictly limited. Eating too much sweets was not good for the body, so Xin Yu could only satisfy his cravings every time. There were very few opportunities like today where he could eat freely. It was all thanks to Shang Junlin. If Xin Yu didn't have an idea and said that he wanted to taste the new products with Shang Junlin, he wouldn't have such an opportunity. Your Majesty, try it too. Seeing that Shang Junlin didn't have anything in front of him, Xin Yu was about to put the pastries into his mouth. His chopsticks turned a corner and put the soft pastries into Shang Junlin's bowl. Because of what happened just now, Xin Yu felt a little guilty. He didn't want Shang Junlin to have psychological reasons for tasting the pastries because of this incident. He wanted to make up for it. While eating, he paid more attention to Shang Junlin. As Xin Yu tasted the pastries, he put more pastries into Shang Junlin's bowl. Because his attention was captured by the pastries, he forgot to change the serving chopsticks. Shang Junlin looked at the pile of pastries in his bowl and didn't remind Xin Yu that he didn't change the serving chopsticks. He slowly ate the pastries one by one. As expected, Xin Yu ate until he was full again, even though most of the pastries on the table went into Shang Junlin's stomach. In order to help with digestion, Shang Junlin took Xin Yu outside for a walk. Winter passed and spring came. The green tips of the grass grew, the withered trees sprouted new buds, and some plants that didn't fear the cold had already bloomed beautiful flowers. Xin Yu ate to his heart's content, and was in a particularly good mood. He supported his waist with one hand and slowly moved on the path. Shang Junlin took care of his speed and walked slowly beside him. Xin Yu looked at Shang Junlin, who was holding his waist, and then looked at himself, who was supporting his waist with one hand. He laughed out loud. What are you laughing at? After feeding Xin Yu, Shang Junlin's mood had completely changed from gloomy to sunny. Your Majesty, don't you think our posture is very... Xin Yu stopped. A little strange. What's strange? Shang Junlin also stopped with one hand still supporting Xin Yu's waist. Your Majesty, look at me. Xin Yu straightened his back and touched his belly. Do I look like I'm pregnant with your Majesty's baby? Chapter 41. Shang Junlin. Guojun is always full of surprises. Although he said that, Shang Junlin couldn't help but think along with Xin Yu's words. If Xin Yu was really pregnant with his child, Xin Yu had only said it casually. After he finished speaking, he didn't care about the waves his words had caused in Shang Junlin's heart. He rubbed his faintly swollen belly and continued walking forward. The weather gradually warmed up. People who had been cooped up in their homes for the entire winter walked out of their homes and called their friends. Not only the commoners, but also the aristocratic families. Prince Li finally handed over his power and entered the palace on a sunny afternoon. After handing over the items that represented his status as a prince, Prince Li felt his entire body relax. He stood opposite Shang Junlin and finally found some sense of the old days. I have been reflecting on my actions these past few days. I have caused trouble for your Majesty over the years. Without the shackles of Prince Li's identity, I can return to myself. I feel that this is a very fortunate thing for me and my wife. Power had always been a double-edged sword. While you gained it, you also lost it. Perhaps some people could maintain their sense of self under the influence of power, but more often than not, they would lose themselves. When Prince Li took inventory of his power, he realized how many mistakes he had made over the years. In the name of doing well for Shang Junlin, it was actually just to satisfy his own selfish desires. I have always felt that Your Majesty needed someone to accompany you. Because of my wife, I felt that the daughter of the Qian family was not bad. I thought that by marrying the daughter of the Qian family to Your Majesty could be like me. Actually, in the beginning, Prince Li wanted to marry his niece to Shang Junlin not because he wanted the Qian family to rise to a higher level. He simply wanted Shang Junlin to have someone he could support by his side. However, as time passed, this pure wish became more and more personal. No matter how good the daughter of the Qian family is, I don't like her. Shang Junlin calmly stated the truth. I know. I am just glad that Shen Guijun, who entered the palace by accident, is someone who can stand by Your Majesty's side. Emotions have always been uncontrollable. I have been muddle-headed all my life. Only now do I fully understand that everyone has their own fate. For example, the Qian family cannot be forced. Prince Li sighed deeply and continued. This subject has sent people to investigate all the matters of the Qian family, both big and small. The results have all been submitted to me. You can deal with them however you want. Your Majesty does not need to be lenient on this subject's account. In the end, the reason they ended up like this is related to this subject's blind indulgence. If it weren't for him, the Qian family wouldn't have become bolder and bolder. Fortunately, he woke up in time, and the Qian family hadn't made an irreversible mistake. There was still a glimmer of hope if they lost their arm to survive. Isn't Prince Li afraid that Princess Consort Li will blame you? Shang Junlin knew that Prince Li and Princess Consort Li had a good relationship. The reason why Prince Li took care of the Qian family was because of Princess Consort Li. Even the reason why he came to plead for mercy was because the Qian family was Princess Consort Li's maternal family. This is also this subject's wife's intention. Since the Qian family has made a mistake, they should be punished for it. Moreover, not everyone in the Qian family is useless. Only by getting rid of the rotten branches and leaves can the Qian family develop better. This principle was learned from Shang Junlin. Back then, Dahuan was in dire straits. If it weren't for Shang Junlin's decisiveness in killing a group of corrupt officials, Dahuan might not have recovered so quickly. I understand. As for the Qian family members who worked hard for Dahuan, I will not pursue them. Thank you, Your Majesty. That night, Prince Li was stripped of his title. The next day, the punishment for the Qian family was announced. No one expected that Prince Li, who had been in the imperial court for many years, would withdraw from the political scene in such a way. There were very few people who knew about the private conversation between Prince Li and Shang Junlin. Xinyu was one of them. He knew because Shang Junlin told him. Shang Junlin did what he said. All the members of the Qian family who committed crimes were punished according to the law. Those who were clean were not stripped of their official positions. They were still loyal to their posts. It was unknown if Prince Li and the Qian family said something in private, but the Qian family quietly accepted this result. What happened to the girl from the Qian family? After listening to Shang Junlin, Xinyu was curious. That girl was close to Princess Consort Li. Her father and brother both made mistakes. She couldn't stay in the Qian family anymore and was taken away by Princess Consort Li. Because of Prince Li, Shang Junlin paid more attention to the Qian family. Xinyu, Your Majesty, have you met this Aunt Qian? Mother? Prince Li wanted to matchmake you too. You should have met before. I have, but it was a few years ago. Shang Junlin glanced at Xinyu's expression. Seeing that his expression didn't change, he suddenly had an indescribable feeling in his heart. Xinyu, Your Majesty, you haven't seen her since? What kind of girl is she? Shang Junlin, I haven't seen her since I knew what Prince Li was planning. Why do you suddenly care so much about this girl from the Qian family? Xinyu, I'm just curious. What kind of niece-in-law is the most qualified in Prince Li's eyes? Shang Junlin didn't know which word hit the nail on the head, but the unknown emotion in his heart dissipated. He picked up the teacup and took a sip. You don't have to worry. In my heart, no one can compare to you. Xinyu. How did the topic suddenly change to this? Xinyu ignored Shang Junlin's sudden inexplicable words and asked, "Shouldn't your majesty release the vassals? Why did your majesty suddenly bring up this topic? Did someone ask your majesty for help?" Shang Junlin slightly frowned. Xinyu nodded. "Several of the prince's families came to me. Your majesty, don't worry, I didn't promise them anything." "Oh right, I didn't accept the generous gifts they prepared." Xinyu finished speaking and added slowly, "If your majesty likes them, just accept them. You probably know what to do. It's time to let them go." Shang Junlin thought, "It's not good to keep the vassals in the capital." 2 days ago, there were already ministers who mentioned this matter. The spring imperial examination is just around the corner. If they continue to keep them here, I'm afraid it will cause more trouble. With Shang Junlin's permission, Xinyu asked Mushi to send a message to the vassals' families who have been waiting for news. Xinyu didn't say anything to Shang Junlin. Although he didn't promise those families, he didn't refuse them in one breath. Instead, he gave them a chance to ease up, just for now. Why did Gongzi refuse to accept the generous gifts sent by the prince's families last time? But this time, he hinted them to prepare a generous gift. Mushi didn't understand. Her Gongzi's small warehouse was almost full. What's more, if Gongzi wanted something, he just needed to tell His Majesty, and someone would send it to him immediately. Why did he have to accept bribes and let people talk about him? "I said it in front of His Majesty. Don't worry, even if you want to harvest wool, you can't harvest His Majesty alone, right? Don't look at those vassals who shrink their necks in the capital. It's because they are afraid that His Majesty's guillotine will fall on their heads. When they return to their fiefdoms, they will only be more powerful than the other. Their warehouses are rich." Mushi didn't understand, but she passed on Xinyu's message. When the family members got the reply, they returned to their temporary residence. The vassals who had been waiting in the residence came to greet them. "How is it this time? Did your majesty agree?" They had no other choice but to find Xinyu. They used all their power and asked the ministers to write a letter. Shang Junlin just pretended not to see it. Originally, they wouldn't have been so anxious. Who knew that Prince Huayu's incident would happen first, and then Prince Li's incident would happen not long after? That was Prince Li, a prince who had made great contributions to Shang Junlin's ascension to the throne. He was deposed just like that. Who knew if it would be them who would be deposed if they stayed any longer? There were a few people who had small ideas in their hearts. After experiencing this series of events, they suppressed their small ideas that they didn't dare to say out loud. They didn't dare to let them come out again in a short period of time. It was also because Shang Junlin didn't make any big moves in the past few years that they had some ideas that they shouldn't have. After what happened during this period of time, they suddenly realized that Shang Junlin was still Shang Junlin. He was the god of death who dared to directly lead troops to attack the capital. Under the anxious gaze of their prince, the family members said Shenyu's intention. Fortunately, if he really didn't want anything, we would have to worry even more. Since he accepted the things, he will naturally do things for us. Quickly, prepare the things your majesty likes and send them to Yuzhong Palace. After listening to the retelling, the kings breathed a sigh of relief. The most difficult people to deal with in this world were always those who had no desires and no demands. Only when there were demands, it was easier to control them. Unknowingly, they had categorized Xinyu as someone who was greedy and easy to manipulate. Xinyu wanted this effect. Before Shang Junlin had completely dealt with these vassal kings, Xinyu had already counted on earning some extra money from them. Mushi was surprised to find that after conveying the news that Xinyu liked all kinds of treasures, the attitude of the king's family members towards her became more enthusiastic. Without letting Xinyu wait, the kings quickly prepared a big gift. Sending it to Yuzhong Palace was too eye-catching, so Xinyu found a manner. In the early years of the abandoned village, he let them send the things over. At the same time, he also told them the specific time of the king's departure. You tell them that they should have stayed a little longer, but thanks to me pestering His Majesty for a few days, His Majesty finally relented and chose such a short date. Mushi did as she was told. After everything was done, Xinyu happily waited to receive the money. What makes your majesty so happy? Shang Junlin came over. Under the sun, Xinyu's smiling face was very impactful. Your majesty, come quickly. Xinyu handed the booklet in his hand to Shang Junlin. Your majesty, look. I earned all these. Shang Junlin opened the booklet and looked at it a few times. It was recorded that a certain prince sent a certain thing at a certain time. All the things on the list were priceless. Is this the big business that your majesty told me before? Shang Junlin raised the booklet in his hand. Half of the credit belongs to your majesty. Your majesty, don't worry. I won't take it all for myself. Half of it belongs to your majesty. Xinyu excitedly talked to Shang Junlin about the things sent by the kings. Look, this is a cloud pattern jade pendant, carved from the best Hetian jade. And this is a red coral that is half a person's height. Finally, he concluded. They are really rich. I hope this kind of opportunity will come a few more times. Shang Junlin laughed. Is your majesty planning to empty their coffers? Xinyu corrected him. Not me. I'm with your majesty. Without your majesty, how could they send me money obediently? Shang Junlin liked to hear Xinyu tie them together. He said dotingly. It's their blessing to be able to please your majesty. Chapter 42. I think the vassal kings don't want this blessing. Xinyu said something fair for the vassal kings in his heart. Also, your majesty, don't you think you have the potential to be a fatuous ruler? Xinyu criticized a few times in his heart, and expelled the unrealistic thoughts from his mind. He raised his hand and pressed on the book in Shang Junlin's hand. Your majesty, when will you get the things back? It was not safe to leave such a large amount of property in the abandoned village. When does your majesty want it? As soon as possible. Xinyu slowly said under Shang Junlin's gaze. If your majesty provides manpower, I can split it 40 to 60. Your majesty is so generous. It seemed that Shang Junlin was not satisfied with this result. At most, we can only split it 40 to 60%. Your majesty must know that without me, your majesty would never have been able to do this. Thinking that Shang Junlin felt that it was not enough, Xinyu indicated that he had already given in. I'm not interested in these things. If your majesty likes it, I can give it all to you. Shang Junlin shook his head helplessly. What does your majesty want? Xinyu did not intend to monopolize the money that was cheated. Whether your majesty is interested or not, I won't take it all for myself. After all, there should be reciprocity. Only by pulling his majesty into the team could he ensure that the next plan would go smoothly. Shang Junlin still looked at him without speaking. Xinyu's eyes moved. He had some ideas in his mind, but he was not sure. In order to confirm his thoughts, Xinyu suddenly rushed over and hugged Shang Junlin. Can I hug your majesty as a reward for my hard work? The young man suddenly rushed over. Shang Junlin was startled and caught him firmly. Before he could blame him, he heard Xinyu's voice. Shang Junlin felt satisfied as if a vacancy in his heart had been filled. Shang Junlin slightly tightened his arms, wanting this feeling to stay for a while. Be careful next time. Don't hurt yourself. Shang Junlin's voice came from above. Your majesty will definitely catch me and won't let me fall, Xinyu said with a slightly raised tone. His voice was full of trust. Shang Junlin pursed his thin lips. Only the smile in his eyes showed that he was in a good mood. Xinyu had been paying attention to Shang Junlin's emotional changes. When he saw this scene, he couldn't help but want to laugh. His majesty was too easy to coax. He could coax him with just a hug. We have a sponsor. With the help of Shang Junlin, it was no longer a problem for Xinyu to worry about how to transport the gifts sent by the vassal kings into the palace. After handing over the matter to Shang Junlin, Xinyu began to think about how to arrange his own forces. Although this life and his previous life had chosen a different path, Xinyu didn't intend to really become a canary in the harem. No matter when, it was better to rely on oneself than on others. His people hadn't developed enough to be independent in the future. As for how to train these people, Xinyu had the experience of his previous life, so it wouldn't be too difficult. It was just that some of the subordinates he was used to working with had not yet joined him. He needed to go to the village to see the situation first. The day of Xin Yu's rebirth was too coincidental. After hurriedly solving the matter of Shen Qingran and his son, it was time to enter the palace. Under the situation that the palace had sent people to the Hofu, he couldn't expose his trump card. So he had been secretly contacting those people. Shang Junlin's actions were very fast. That night, the gifts sent by the vassal kings quietly appeared in Yuzhang Palace without attracting anyone's attention. Xin Yu had told Muxi in advance. When the gifts were sent, Muxi had already prepared an empty room to put these things. The gifts that were sent contained all kinds of rare and exotic treasures. Most of them were shiny gems, and some were exquisitely made porcelain. Xin Yu even found a whole box of gold. This was not on the list of gifts. Your Majesty, these uncles of yours are really rich. Xin Yu sighed. It seems that they really can't wait to leave. If not, how could they spend such a large amount of capital? However, I didn't expect that they would bring so much money to the capital. Maybe their original intention was to come to the capital to develop their power. Xin Yu didn't think it was strange. Money can make ghosts turn millstones. As long as you are willing to spend, you can always spend some money to get some people who don't care about their lives. Xin Yu was right. The vassal kings brought so much money because they had a little idea. The fief was too far away from the capital. If they could leave some spies in the capital, it would be much better than not knowing anything in the fief. It's just that they didn't expect that so many things would happen after coming to the capital. Not to mention that they were scared out of their wits. Even if they dared to send it, no one dared to accept it. Among them, the king of Yu vomited blood the most in his heart. After a lot of hard work, he finally proved that he was the descendant of the previous emperor, but he also destroyed most of the arrangements in the capital. The people who were supposed to be on the ship also chose to withdraw from this turmoil. Compared with the king of Yu, the current emperor was more frightening. Your Royal Highness, there is news from the residents of Zhenbei again. Are we still going to ignore it this time? The king of Yu sat at his desk and reviewed his experience during this period of time. When he heard the report from his subordinate, he was about to say that he would deal with it according to the previous practice. Suddenly, he thought of something and changed the topic. Wait, bring the letter over. Bring the previous one as well. He must not go back empty-handed. The subordinate responded with a yes. Not long after, he brought a large pile of letters. The corner of the king of Yu's eyes twitched. Why are there so many? There are also several other young masters and young ladies here. Your Royal Highness, do you want to take a look together? In order to facilitate his future actions, the king of Yu deliberately made friends with the younger generation of several ministers after coming to the capital. Some of them were purely friends, while others had a different meaning. Too many things had happened during this period of time. The king of Yu was busy proving that there was no problem with his bloodline. He hadn't contacted these people for a long time. He rubbed his forehead with a headache and said, "Bring them together." The owners of these letters were the same as Shen Qingran. The king of Yu had made friends with them by concealing his identity. Not all of them were interested in the king of Yu. They were all words of concern and concern. The king of Yu casually flipped through them and put them aside. Suddenly his hand stopped. At this moment, the letter in his hand was written by Shen Qingran. Ignoring the crooked handwriting, the king of Yu carefully looked at the contents of the letter. The more he read, the more solemn his expression became. Did he say that he wanted to see me? Go and arrange a time for me to meet him. The king of Yu clenched the letter in his hand. If Shen Qingran really knew more than what was written in the letter, he had to find a way to bring Shen Qingran back. These things couldn't fall into the hands of Shang Junlin. The subordinate accepted the order and left. The king of Yu stood in front of the window, and the smile on his face gradually widened. He originally thought that only Shen Yu could be of great use in the Count of Zhenbei's family. He didn't expect that there would be times when he misjudged. Shen Qingran really gave him a big surprise. On this side, Shen Qingran quickly received a reply from the king of Yu. After being well-behaved for a period of time, Count of Zhenbei really couldn't resist concubine Ru's repeated pleas and lifted Shen Qingran's confinement. Shen Qingran's leg was slowly getting better. He was unwilling to be trapped in the Count of Jinbei. He didn't want to be under Shen Yu's control for the rest of his life. After thinking about it, the only person he could rely on now was the King of Yu, whose identity was still unclear. As if grasping the last life-saving straw, Shin Qingran dug out all the knowledge in his mind, and chose some things that the person in power would definitely like, and sent them to the King of Yu. If the King of Yu wanted that position, he would definitely come to him when he saw the letter. Even if he didn't, what the letter said would not bring disaster to him. Shin Qingran waited for a few days and finally got a reply. Looking at the place mentioned in the letter, he slowly smiled. The date of the return of the kings was confirmed. The kings who couldn't stay any longer cried with joy and sent a lot of good things to Shin Yu. Shin Yu didn't expect that there would be follow-up benefits. He gave half of it to Shang Junlin, and kept the rest for himself. Shang Junlin didn't say anything and accepted it. He just turned his head and found a reason to send a batch of rewards to Yuzhong Palace. Everything was not inferior to the rewards sent by the kings. The rewards were sent by eunuch Meng. It had to be said that Shang Junlin's approach once again refreshed everyone's understanding of Shen Yu's degree of favor. Eunuch Meng, who knew the inside story of the kings, could deeply feel the weight of Shen Yu in Shang Junlin's heart. Mushi was already numb to the rewards sent to Yuzhong Palace from time to time. Her master gave half of the stolen goods to the emperor, and in less than 2 days, the emperor sent double the reward. She and eunuch Meng looked at each other, and both of them cursed at the same time. Is this the way the royal husband shows off his love? People who don't have enough power and money really can't understand. Your Majesty. After the morning court, Shang Junlin returned to Yuzhong Palace. It seemed that since Shen Yu entered the palace, he was used to returning to Yuzhong Palace directly after the morning court. As soon as he stepped into the palace gate, he saw Shen Yu coming to greet him. Isn't this time your afternoon nap time? Why are you still outside? Shang Junlin quickened his pace and unconsciously smiled. I was frightened by your Majesty's sudden rewards and couldn't sleep, Shen Yu complained half-truthfully. Yuzhong Palace is almost full. You don't like it? Shen Yu answered honestly, I like it. But why did your Majesty reward so many things? Shen Yu thought for a moment. He didn't do anything during this time. I like the gifts that your Majesty gave me, so I wanted to make your Majesty happy. Shen Yu was indeed happy. He was very happy, but my original intention was to enrich your Majesty's private treasury. Now, not only did I not enrich it, but your Majesty also took out a sum of money. Isn't what's mine yours? Just put it somewhere else. If I can't even afford to raise a Yu, I don't want to be the Emperor of Dahuan. Shen Yu's heart warmed when he heard this. He couldn't help but wrap his arms around the man's waist and bury his face in Shang Junlin's shoulder. He thought to himself, sure enough, money blinds the eyes. If Shang Junlin asks for something excessive now, he might agree to it. Shang Junlin didn't know what he missed and mentioned another thing. The hidden dragon guard sent a message saying that King Yu wants to meet your younger brother in private on the 3rd day after the vassal king left the capital. They still haven't stopped contacting each other. Shen Yu thought that after this incident, the two of them would develop differently from their previous life. It's your younger brother who sent him a letter. I don't know what he wrote, but King Yu is willing to take the risk and stay for 2 more days to meet him. Didn't your Majesty say that King Yu hid his identity in the capital and got to know many officials' children? There are even some officials' daughters. Shen Yu didn't need to ask to know what King Yu was thinking. Why don't you send them a letter? It's also the last time you see them before you leave. How can you favor one and discriminate against the other? Shen Yu leaned on Shang Junlin's shoulder and laughed. That scene must be very interesting. Chapter 43. Shang Junlin could not help but imagine the scene. He tried his best to suppress the smile on his face, but his tone still revealed a hint of a smile. King Yu will definitely have a headache. Your Majesty? Shen Yu looked at him suggestively. Shang Junlin said, don't you have the token of the hidden dragon guards? You can just let them do whatever you want. Shen Yu hesitated. Isn't it inappropriate to use your hidden dragon guards to do this kind of thing? Shang Junlin did not mind. It's just sending a letter. It's not a difficult thing. After asking about the time and place of the meeting between King Yu and Xin Qingran, Xin Yu happily asked the hidden dragon guards to send the letter. Xin Yu did not have any other motive. He just wanted to make things difficult for King Yu and Xin Qingran. He could roughly guess what Xin Qingran wrote in the letter to King Yu. It was the same in his previous life. Xin Qingran used the knowledge of the future to fool many people. The book also said that Xin Qingran was able to gain the favor of King Yu because of his unique personality and his never-ending supply of new ideas. Your Majesty, aren't you curious about what Xin Qingran said to King Yu? Xin Yu lay on the soft couch and poked Shang Junlin's leg. The man who was reading the memorials paused. His leg muscles tightened. He put down his pen and grabbed Xin Yu's hand. I'm only interested in the letter that you wrote. Xin Yu looked at Shang Junlin from the bottom and smiled. Your Majesty, are you hinting that I should write a letter to you? Shang Junlin put down the memorials and carried Xin Yu into his arms. I think that you can help me read the memorials for a while. Xin Yu twisted his body and refused. Your Majesty, you have to learn to do your own things. If you can't do it, you can still squeeze the officials. You don't have to ask me to do it. Guijun, don't move. Shang Junlin's voice suddenly became low and hoarse. Xin Yu suddenly froze in place. The burning hot presence was extremely strong against him. Xin Yu did not dare to provoke Shang Junlin anymore. After sitting for a while, the heat did not dissipate. Xin Yu could not stand it anymore and said softly, Your Majesty, let me down. It was really uncomfortable to be pressed against him all the time. Shang Junlin didn't plan to do anything. He patted Xin Yu's back and released his arm. Xin Yu hurriedly stood up and moved to the other side of the soft couch. He carefully looked at Shang Junlin and said, Your Majesty, should I go out for a while? No. Xin Yu he picked up a book and sat on the other side of the couch, absent-mindedly flipping through the pages. 15 minutes later, Shang Junlin of Xin Yu read to Emperor Junlin. Junlin Xin Yu could not tell if Shang Junlin had calmed down or not. Xin Yu flipped through the book in boredom and looked at Shang Junlin again. Your Majesty? Yes. His voice was calm. It seemed that everything was fine. Xin Yu was relieved and relaxed instantly. He slowly moved to Shang Junlin's side. Your Majesty, this is not good. Who would I blame? Shang Junlin did not turn his head. Xin Yu, who had pushed Xin Yu out of the room but did not put out the fire, shut his mouth. The room became quiet. For a while, there was only the sound of the booklets being turned and the brush rubbing against the pages. In order to take care of Xin Yu's body, the temperature in the room was very high. It was easy for people to fall asleep in a warm environment. Xin Yu blinked. He was a little sleepy. Sensing his boredom, Shang Junlin handed him a booklet. Guijun, take a look at this. Xin Yu took the booklet doubtfully and opened it. Is there progress so soon? The booklet was presented by Lin County. The excitement of the person who wrote it could be seen from between the lines. After Guijun gave the flood control method to me, I quickly ordered people to go to Lin County. According to the news from Lin County, the initial results have been seen. The problem in Lin County could not be solved overnight. Shang Junlin did not expect to see results immediately. He did not expect that in less than 2 months, there would be good news. Xin Yu's sleepiness immediately disappeared. He carefully read the contents of the booklet and sighed, It's really good. If it could be prevented in advance, it would not cause such a big loss like in his previous life. Soon it was the day for the kings to leave. Unlike in the past, there were always people who refused to leave. This time, as soon as the sun rose, the kings packed their luggage and left in a hurry without waiting for others to send them off. More and more students came to the capital to take the exam. Those who got up early were lucky enough to see this scene. Why are they in such a hurry to leave? Aren't they going to wait? Some students who had just arrived were puzzled. If the time was not set to be today, the kings would have already left. Why is that? Ha ha ha, didn't you hear about what happened a while ago? Is that so? They are probably afraid that if they stay, they will end up like Prince Huayu and Prince Li. After the kings left, the capital returned to its peaceful state. King Yu's carriage left with the crowd, but no one noticed that the real King Yu had changed his clothes and walked into a restaurant where students gathered. Xin Yu and Shang Junlin also disguised themselves and left the palace. In order to avoid being recognized, the two of them disguised themselves as students who came to the capital to take the exam. They came to the biggest restaurant in the capital, Yingxing Tower. The owner of this restaurant was very good at doing business. He knew the importance of reputation. During the spring imperial examination, he would receive students who came to the capital to take the exam at a very low price. If one obtained scholarly honors, not only would the cost of food and accommodation be waived, but they could also receive a sum of money. They only needed to leave a calligraphy piece. For this reason, many examinees were willing to stay here. After all, this restaurant had produced countless high school students. It was also good to get an auspicious omen. Xin Yu and Shang Junlin sat face to face in a private room by the window. Listening to the endless introduction of the waiter, they gave a thumbs up. Your boss is very good. That's right. The waiter was obviously very proud of his restaurant. Not to mention other things, our dishes taste very good. During this time, you will definitely feel that the money you spent was worth it. What would you like to order? After the waiter finished the introduction, he did not forget the business. Give me a portion of your signature dishes. Xin Yu thought for a moment. Do you have any delicious snacks? You've asked the right person. People who have tried our desserts say that they're superb. We have everything from sweet to savory. It can be said that there's no other restaurant in the entire capital that has more desserts than us. Okay, then give us some sweet desserts. I want your most famous desserts. Okay, please wait a moment. I will ask the kitchen to prepare it. The waiter wrote down one by one. What about the drinks? What do you want? This time, before Xin Yu could speak, Shang Junlin said, No drinks. The waiter was stunned for a moment. He probably had not met a male customer who did not want to drink, but he quickly reacted and said with a straight face, Yes. Xin Yu explained with a smile. I am not in good health, so I can't drink these. I understand. Please wait a moment. This time was different from the last time. Xin Yu had not experienced such a lively atmosphere for a long time. Junlin poured a cup of tea. He handed the teacup to Shang Junlin. Your Majesty, how do you feel? Downstairs, there was a hubbub of voices and endless discussions. They were immersed in the hubbub of the human world and integrated with this flashy world. Feeling the cool breeze blowing on his face, Xin Yu clearly realized that he had really returned to the past. Shang Junlin took a sip of the teacup. If you like it, you can come a few more times. Then I will have to trouble Lin to accompany me a few more times, Xin Yu said with a smile. Without Lin, it will be boring for me to be alone. You want me to follow behind you to pay and carry things for you, right? Shang Junlin mercilessly broke Xin Yu's lie. Why is Lin so clear? Xin Yu held his chin with both hands. If you want to carry things for me, you can just pick any palace made to do it. Lin is different from them. His Majesty, who was easy to coax, paid very quickly for the rest of the trip. Yingxing Tower was very fast. Even though there were many guests, they did not let Xin Yu and Shang Junlin wait for long. After about a quarter of an hour, dishes began to be served one after another. In order to maintain the reputation of the best restaurant in the capital, Yingxing Tower made every dish look, smell, and taste good. Xin Yu paid attention to Shang Junlin while eating. When he saw that Shang Junlin's eyebrows were relaxed, he knew that Shang Junlin was very satisfied with the dishes here. One of the dishes was braised carp. The color was very beautiful. Xin Yu's eyes swept over the dish several times, but he did not pick it up. His eyes casually swept downstairs and suddenly stopped. Xin Yu pulled Shang Junlin's sleeve. Lin, look, isn't that Prince Yu? Not far downstairs, a man in white was standing with two young people dressed like students. It was unknown what they were talking about. Shang Junlin looked in the direction of Xin Yu's finger. It's him. Although Prince Yu was in disguise, Xin Yu had dealt with him for a long time in his previous life. It was impossible for him not to recognize him. Moreover, Prince Yu had used this appearance to get close to him. Xin Yu picked up a piece of dessert and put it in his mouth. What is he doing here? Maybe he wants to get to know some people who can enter the imperial court in the future. Shang Junlin carefully picked out the bones in the fish and pushed the bowl in front of Xin Yu. Shin Yu looked at the bowl in front of him in surprise. This is... I saw you looking at the carp several times but you didn't eat it. Are you worried about the bones? Don't worry, I've already picked out all the bones in this bowl. Eat it. Shang Junlin's tone was as usual. He didn't feel that he had done anything big. Shin Yu slowly picked up a piece of fish and put it in his mouth. His heart was sour and swollen. He couldn't describe the feeling. Shin Yu slowly ate the fish in the bowl. How could he have the mood to care about Prince Yu? However, some things couldn't be completely separated from you just because you didn't care about them. The two of them ate quietly for a while. Suddenly, there was a noise outside the door. One of the voices was Prince Yu, whom they were paying attention to just now. Shin Yu didn't intend to pay attention to it. Looking at Shang Junlin, he also didn't intend to pay attention to it. Suddenly, the door was pushed open from the outside. The waiter walked in with an apologetic face. I'm really sorry to disturb the two of you. Shin Yu looked up and saw a woman in pink standing in front of Prince Yu. She was saying something in a stern voice. There were several women in gorgeous clothes around her. Two young people who were dressed like students stood aside awkwardly. They wanted to persuade her, but didn't know how to. Shin Yu looked around the crowd. Unsurprisingly, he saw Shin Qingran, who was not far from Prince Yu. Shin Qingran was wearing light blue clothes. His head was lowered, so his expression couldn't be seen clearly. The woman standing in front of Prince Yu seemed to be angered by Prince Yu's words. She didn't seem to notice that the door was pushed open. She suddenly raised her voice. What do you mean by that? Are you raising fish? Look at these. The woman pointed at the people around them. Red, pink, green, yellow, blue. Are you planning to collect all the colors and open a dye house? Chapter 44. Shin Yu couldn't hold back his laughter, and hurriedly covered his mouth. He didn't want to interrupt such a good show. Sitting down beside Shang Junlin, Shin Yu lowered his voice and said, I didn't expect that the people King Yu provoked would be so eloquent. Opening a dye shop, ha ha ha, he must be so angry, ha ha ha. Shin Yu was laughing so hard that he could not stand straight. Shang Junlin had no choice but to hold his shoulders to prevent him from falling. Which family is this girl from? She is so talented. She is the only daughter of Lord Fong. Shang Junlin replied as he hugged the young man who was laughing in his arms. So she is from Lord Fong's family. Lord Fong is really good at teaching his daughter. Shin Yu gave high praise to Lord Fong. The good show was not over yet. The girl in pink was not willing to give up. King Yu was very annoyed. He only wanted to meet Shin Qingran in private. He did not expect to meet these people at the same time. During this period of time, the imperial court was in a state of panic. It was impossible for him to take the path of an official. If not, he would not have to find another way to get to know the children of these officials. People were always unguarded towards their own family members. King Yu had indeed obtained a lot of useful information from these people. After tasting the sweetness, King Yu used the same trick and got to know the children of a few important officials. Shang Junlin told Shin Yu the information that the hidden dragon guards had found. Shin Yu waved his hand and asked the waiter to bring a small plate of melon seeds. He said while eating, King Yu is really willing to spend money. He did not hesitate to use his body to entice them. Shang Junlin understood the meaning behind Shin Yu's words. He smiled slightly. I'll eat too. Shin Yu grabbed a handful of melon seeds and stuffed them into Shang Junlin's hands. He continued to hold the melon seeds and watch the show. Fortunately, they were in a room upstairs. There were not many customers. Most of the people surrounding King Yu were here to send him off after receiving the letter. No one knew that they would encounter such a scene after arriving. I don't want to listen to your excuses. Today, this lady will say it right here. You must give us an explanation. The pink-clothed girl said bluntly. The rest of the girls nodded their heads, as if they had a common enemy. They had all been pampered since they were young. When had they ever suffered such grievances? If King Yu could not give them a satisfactory answer, it was obvious that this matter would not be easily resolved. Yu Wangtudu, when he grew up and interacted with Master Feng's daughter, he quite liked her valiant personality. But when this kind of personality was directed at him, it was very unpleasant. The moment he stepped into the private room and saw the girl in pink, he knew that things were not going to be good. In fact, it was also the case. Before he could speak, the girl in pink asked a series of questions that made him speechless. If the woman in pink was alone, he could still think of a way to calm her down. Unexpectedly, there was more than one person in the private room. After losing the initiative, King Yu could only retreat step by step. Shin Yu nudged Shang Junlin with his elbow. How do you think King Yu will solve this crisis? Shang Junlin shook his head honestly. Then he thought of something and stared at Shin Yu with his eagle-like eyes. You know? Shin Yu was stunned for a moment and pulled back his attention from the battlefield. He smiled and said, I only have Lin. How can I have the luck to enjoy the treatment of King Yu? Shang Junlin withdrew his gaze and continued to peel melon seeds. King Yu restrained his impatience and comforted the pink-clothed girl in front of him. Let's go in first and talk about it, okay? I promise to give you an explanation. No need. Just here. I will leave after you explain it clearly. She disdained this kind of man who split his legs. Same for us. Several well-dressed girls nodded. When they first knew the truth, they were flustered. Fortunately, Miss Feng's words made them see the true face of the scumbag. There were thousands of men in the world. With their family background, how could they not find a good one? They just wanted to seek justice for themselves. The commotion was too big. Guests from other private rooms came out one after another to watch the fun. During this special period, most of the guests in Yingxing Tower were students from all over the country who came to the capital to take the imperial exam. King Yu's image was completely ruined in the eyes of the scholars. A new guest couldn't understand what was happening in front of him. He was puzzled. What happened? It seems that this man cheated several girls at the same time, and they came to him at the same time. Oh, so many. It seems that there are more than just girls. Look over there, there are several handsome young masters. Feeling strange gazes from time to time, two students who were affected by the commotion pulled the corners of their mouths awkwardly and quietly retreated. They didn't want to get involved in this muddy water. In their hearts, they felt bad for King Yu. Their favorable impression of him also fell to the bottom. No matter how talented he was, he couldn't beat a bad character. They looked at each other and removed King Yu from the list of people they could get to know. Bathed in all kinds of ambiguous gazes, Shin Qingrang clenched his fists. He couldn't understand why such a thing happened. He thought that he could have a meteoric rise after today, but in fact, he jumped from one abyss to another. More and more people gathered around, and the discussion became louder and louder. King Yu's forehead twitched, and he almost couldn't maintain the expression on his face. The girls who were cheated surrounded King Yu and didn't let him go. The girl in pink didn't care about the gazes of the outside world. She wanted to seek justice for herself, and the girls who were also cheated. Shin Yu watched with great interest. In order to have a better view, he pulled Shang Junlin to the door and mixed into the crowd. The sound of Shin Yu eating melon seeds attracted the attention of the people around him. Feeling the gazes from time to time, Shin Yu generously reached out his hand. Do you want some? A student in green took a small handful of melon seeds from Shin Yu's hand. Shang Junlin's eyes fell on the student in green like a shadow. No matter how big the student in green was, he couldn't bask in such a gaze and eat melon seeds. He had to whisper to Shin Yu, "How should I address you too? My surname is Yu and his surname is Lin." Shin Yu pointed to himself and then to Shang Junlin. "Young Master Yu, Young Master Lin." The student in green introduced himself after greeting them. "My surname is Jiang. You can call me Huiqing." Jiang Huiqing. Shin Yu calmly looked at the young man standing in front of him. He was full of vitality and had not been worn away by hardships. He also didn't have the world-weary momentum. His most capable subordinate in his previous life was just a young man who had not experienced any hardships and was full of mettle. Shin Yu raised the corner of his mouth. Compared with the subordinate in his previous life who was lethargic, he preferred the current Jiang Huiqing who had bright eyes. "Huiqing also lives here?" Jiang Huiqing nodded. He thought of something and felt a little embarrassed. "Today, two of my companions said that they would introduce a friend to us. I didn't expect." Shin Yu understood. The person they introduced was the one surrounded by women? Jiang Huiqing nodded. Now we can't make friends with him no matter what. The gaze fell on him as if it was tangible. However, Jiang Huiqing only felt a burst of coldness rushing towards him. Under the intense sense of crisis, his hair stood on end. Jiang Huiqing followed the gaze in confusion. When he saw the man standing beside Shenyu, he was stunned. Looking at the man's possessive posture towards Shenyu, Jiang Huiqing intuitively saw through a certain truth. He silently distanced himself from Shenyu. Sure enough, after he consciously distanced himself, the temperature around him instantly rose. Jiang Huiqing moved his gaze to the center of the crowd with a stupefied expression. He'd better continue to watch the show. Shenyu didn't notice the small episode around him. He was whispering to Shang Junlin while paying attention to the movements of the Prince of Yu. The Prince of Yu was badly battered. Feng Daren's daughter was too difficult to deal with. No matter what he said, she wouldn't let him go. His lies were also easily seen through by her. Under her leadership, the difficulty of deceiving those women rose sharply. At this moment, the Prince of Yu was really regretful. If he had known, he wouldn't have allowed Feng Daren to be used by the Emperor to hook up with Feng Daren's daughter. Not only did he fail to get any information, but he also got himself into trouble. This woman is really amazing. Jiang Huiqing couldn't help but sigh. With just a few words, she forced that man to be utterly defeated. Ordinary men can't be so clear and logical. Shenyu nodded in agreement. The Prince of Yu had kicked an iron plate this time. Shang Junlin bent down slightly and moved closer to Shenyu's ear. He lowered his voice so that only the two of them could hear. Feng Daren's daughter is really not inferior to men. His warm breath sprinkled on her sensitive earlobe. Shenyu trembled and her earlobe gradually turned red. Her white jade seeped into the crimson color. Shang Junlin's eyes darkened, and he felt his teeth itch. He couldn't help but move closer. Shenyu only felt pain in her ear. Before she could think, she suddenly raised her hand to cover her ear. She turned her head and said unhappily, "What are you doing?" Do you think I'm right?" Shang Junlin didn't have a guilty conscience at all. Shenyu's ears burned and the feeling of being bitten lingered. She gritted her teeth and wanted to bite Shang Junlin too. Jiang Huiqing, who happened to see the scene just now, turned his head stiffly. He even forgot what he wanted to say to Shenyu. Under the pressure of the woman in pink, the Prince of Yu finally couldn't help but apologize. However, at this time, a woman who had been standing in the corner silently stood up and said sternly, "He is the Prince of Yu. How can he apologize to you commoners? It's your fortune to be favored by the Prince of Yu." Whoa! A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples. Is he really the Prince of Yu? Didn't the Prince of Yu return to his fief with the other vassals? This woman doesn't look like she's lying. Slandering the royal family is a serious crime. But didn't the rumors say that the Prince of Yu was gentle and elegant and stood aloof from worldly affairs? You said it was a rumor. You may know a person for a long time without understanding his true nature. Who knows what kind of person he is in private? The discussion instantly became louder. Shenyu poked Shang Junlin's arm. "Did you arrange this?" Shang Junlin frowned. No. He only asked the hidden dragon guards to pass the letter to those people. He didn't do anything else. Shenyu pinched his chin and pondered. This was interesting. Who had such a big grudge against the Prince of Yu that they would expose his identity at this time? The Prince of Yu's expression changed instantly. He shot a murderous look at the woman. He originally planned to give up his current identity. Anyway, he was going to return to his fief, and wouldn't be able to come to the capital for a while. At most, he could come back with a new identity after this incident. However, if his true identity was exposed, all his previous efforts would be in vain. The Prince of Yu? It seems that he isn't rearing fish but choosing concubines. Someone in the crowd said sarcastically, "The concubines he is choosing are all from prestigious families." The woman in pink said disdainfully, "Choosing concubines? Doesn't he know if he's worthy? Even the emperor only wants one concubine. Does the Prince of Yu want to get all the concubines in one net?" Chapter 45. The disdain in the girl in pink's words was obvious. Many people present couldn't help but laugh out loud. Thinking about it carefully, it's true. His Majesty didn't choose any noble lady, but King Yu personally went to pick one for himself. The key is that he chose people, but he hid his true identity to deceive innocent women. It's really shameful. There were also people who had a good impression of King Yu who tried to save his dignity. Did this person do it on purpose? He has a grudge against King Yu and deliberately slandered him. No matter what, King Yu is still a prince. He can have any woman he wants. There's no reason for him to hide his identity to get acquainted with all the ladies in the capital. You missed it. There are also men. In this matter, King Yu really can't compare to His Majesty. Of course, otherwise how can King Yu only be King Yu? Shang Junlin only wanted Xin Yu. Although many courtiers were dissatisfied, the reaction of the people was very good. The affectionate and loyal emperor didn't hesitate to fight against the courtiers for his lover. It suddenly made people feel that he was humane. In the past, what they heard the most was how cruel the emperor was and how he killed people. Hearing it made people tremble in fear. This time it was different. When everyone heard it, they only felt that the emperor also had feelings. He would also fight for love like ordinary people. He also had 7 emotions and 6 desires. He would not only kill people. Shen Qingran hid in the corner and didn't dare to show his head. He was surprised when he found out King Yu's true identity, but it was only for a moment. Soon, he was pulled back to reality and continued to face the embarrassing situation in front of him. At the same time, his jealousy of Shen Yu reached a peak. Why did Shen Yu meet people who were loyal to him, but he met a master of fish breeding? Oh no, now the fish pond was overturned, and the cause was very likely to be him. Shen Qingran tried hard to recall, trying to find something wrong from his memory. He didn't believe that King Yu would be so stupid to ask everyone to meet at the same place. Unfortunately, he thought about it several times and still couldn't find anything. King Yu listened to everyone's discussion, and his face turned red and white. He couldn't bear to be compared with Shang Junlin, especially when he was a negative example. Looking around, everyone's jaws dropped. He opened and closed his mouth, spitting out the words he was most unwilling to hear. He wanted these people to shut up, but when he opened his mouth, he seemed to have lost his voice. What should he say? What could he say? In his panic, he thought of something and looked in the direction of the woman who had revealed his true identity. The woman was wearing a light blue dress and had a red hairpin of the same color on her head. Her small face was deathly pale, making her look very pitiful. No. The fog in his mind was sliced apart by a blade of light. King Yu calmed himself down and carefully observed the woman. The woman seemed to be frightened by his gaze and shrank back. The girl in pink noticed his movements and moved to block King Yu's line of sight. The King of Yu was about to get angry, but when he saw that bright and beautiful face, he was speechless. Your Highness King Yu is so powerful. Not only are you fearless after your identity is exposed, you even want to threaten us sisters? It could be said that the pink-clothed woman did not hold back when she insulted King Yu. I didn't. King Yu's momentum automatically lowered by half. I'm just very confused. I don't know that woman. Why would she appear here? But in this case, not many people believed King Yu's words. He's still lying at this time. Even the prince can't do this, right? He must have been accidentally exposed by that woman. Now that woman is still dreaming of flying to the branch and becoming a phoenix. Xin Yu watched the increasingly exciting drama with great interest and discussed with Shang Junlin in a low voice. I don't know if King Yu really doesn't know this woman, or is pretending not to know her. Whether he knows her or not, now everyone will only think that this woman is one of his beauties. What do you mean by it's hard to explain? That's it. Xin Yu was happy to see King Yu suffer. So he really is King Yu. Jiang Huiqing was speechless. How can a prince do such a thing? Xin Yu. A person's character has nothing to do with his identity. Jiang Huiqing. That's right. You can't think that he can't deceive a little girl just because he is a prince. More than that. Look over there. Xin Yu pointed to the side with a low sense of presence. Those seem to be related to King Yu. Jiang Huiqing looked in the direction of Xin Yu's finger and sucked in a breath of cold air. It turns out that he not only wants to kidnap the minister's daughter, but also her son. He won't let go of the minister's son. The confrontation between King Yu and the woman in pink was still going on. King Yu wanted to go over and ask what was going on. The woman in pink was worried that he would hurt people, so she stopped him from approaching. The onlookers also sensed something and pushed to separate the two of them. They looked at him with obvious condemnation in their eyes. King Yu's breath was stuck in his chest. He had never been in such a sorry state before. If he is King Yu, this matter can't be easily settled. Miss, you have to think carefully. King Yu deliberately concealed his identity to approach you. What is his intention? A clear voice sounded in the crowd. Most of the people present were not stupid. They could sense that something was wrong with this matter after thinking about it carefully. Yes, we must ask clearly. The woman in pink frowned. She was a clear-minded person. She could figure out the interests of this matter after being slightly pointed out by others. These women were not all stunning. Apart from their own conditions, what else was worth the prince's attention? After thinking about it, it could only be his elders who were officials. Looking at the women around her, she found that all of them had fathers or brothers who were officials in the imperial court. Thinking of this, the woman in pink was even angrier. She was usually very careful not to reveal things that shouldn't be revealed to outsiders. As for whether other people had, her eyes swept over these women's faces one by one. Some of them had slightly changed their faces. It seemed that they had said something that shouldn't be said in private with King Yu. King Yu, what do you say? The woman in pink looked coldly at the man who had almost made her fall into a trap. Seeing that King Yu was unable to reverse the situation because of Shen Yu's words, Jiang Huiqing couldn't help but give a thumbs up. Young Master Yu is amazing. Shen Yu smiled and responded to Jiang Huiqing's praise. You flatter me, you flatter me. Does young Master Yu have any conflicts with King Yu? Jiang Huiqing was very curious. If not, why did young Master Yu put King Yu in a more difficult situation again and again? No, I'm in white. What disputes can I have with King Yu? Shen Yu's expression didn't change. I just can't stand him bullying so many innocent women. If there is a chance, I think Huiqing will do the same thing as me. Jiang Huiqing thought for a moment and nodded. Indeed, so what if he is a prince? Can he be more important than His Majesty? She felt her hand being held under her sleeve. Shen Yu touched the man's palm. As expected, she felt the man's body stiffen. Shen Yu pretended not to know and stopped. How does this have anything to do with His Majesty? You see, His Majesty sits on the 4 seas and has everything he wants. In the beginning, the ministers exerted a lot of pressure to force His Majesty to take a concubine, but His Majesty said he didn't want one. He resisted the pressure and made the ministers pinch their noses and accept this matter. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw a man in a light gray robe walking over. Jiang Huiqing waved. Brother Qingyu over here. After greeting Shen Yu, he explained. I met Brother Qingyu on my way to the capital. He is a person I can make friends with. The man walked over to them in a short while. Jiang Huiqing introduced the two sides. This is young Master Yu, young Master Lin. This is Brother Qingyu, surnamed He. Young Master He. Compared to Jiang Huiqing, Qingyu's attitude was slightly colder. However, among the 4 of them, there was already a very cold Shang Junlin, so it wasn't strange. Used to Shang Junlin's silence, Jiang Huiqing still pulled Shen Yu to talk. Occasionally, Qingyu would say a few words. Without waiting for Qingyu to ask, Jiang Huiqing told him what had just happened. After finishing, he sighed. I really didn't expect that I would encounter such a thing. Is that really Prince Yu? Qingyu looked at the embarrassed man in the crowd. Most likely. No matter whether he is or not, this won't end well. Shang Junlin protected Shen Yu from the crowd. Shen Yu hid under the man's protection with a clear conscience. Qingyu quietly observed the 2 people. No matter how he looked at them, these 2 people's identities were not simple. Shen Yu noticed it but didn't care. He whispered to Shang Junlin. Shen Yu, how does a Lin think this matter will be solved? Shang Junlin. What does you want? Shen Yu. He wants Prince Yu to be taught a lesson. But we don't know the origin of the woman who revealed Prince Yu's identity. Shang Junlin. I will send someone to investigate. No matter what the purpose of the person behind the woman is, if it has something to do with us, he will come out sooner or later. Xinyu, since he has caused so much trouble for Prince Yu, if he has any request, Lin should agree to it. Shang Junlin held Xinyu's hands tightly under the sleeves. He rubbed the back of Xinyu's hand and was very easy to talk to. Okay. Xinyu continued to give a meaningful glance. Prince Yu must have brought people. Maybe he wants to silence them. We can't let Prince Yu leave so easily. Don't worry, Shang Junlin pinched Xinyu's fingers. Our people are down there. Prince Yu finally made some progress. Seeing that the situation was about to develop to an irreversible point, Prince Yu couldn't help but call out the servants who were secretly following him, intending to force his way out. Since you know my identity, quickly get out of the way. I won't pursue your crime of disrespect. Prince Yu, who was protected in the middle by the servants, tried to put on a strong front. He must escape first and then think of a way. These students. Prince Yu made up his mind. Since they saw this scene, they should never speak of it. As soon as he finished speaking, there was an uproar. Prince Yu is so powerful. Xinyu clapped his hands and walked out of the crowd. Before Prince Yu leaves, shouldn't you give justice to these women? Who are you? Prince Yu looked at him vigilantly. Don't meddle in my business. A person who sees injustice on the road. Xinyu slightly curved his lips. Prince Yu, don't think that you can oppress others with your power just because you are a prince. You should know that you are only a prince. In Dahuan, it's not your turn to make the decision. Well said. In the crowd, Jiang Huiqing loudly agreed. The others also followed. They were all ambitious young people. No matter what they would become after being corrupted by officialdom in the future, they all abhorred evil. They hoped that they could make a real career for the country and the people. They couldn't stand this kind of oppression. That's right. Who do you think you are? You dare to oppress people in front of the emperor? We have so many people. Do you think we are afraid of you? If you don't make it clear today, don't think about leaving. Moreover, shouldn't the king have already left? Why are you staying in the capital? Prince Yu's behavior just now had aroused public anger. Once his momentum was oppressed, he would definitely suffer a backlash. Xinyu lowered his eyes. Look, didn't this lead to a bad result? You are. Prince Yu looked at Xinyu in surprise, and then his eyes moved to the man beside Xinyu and suddenly stopped. Prince Yu didn't care about other people's words. He stared at Xinyu and Shang Junlin. Even if they disguised themselves, he still recognized them. The emperor and the emperor. Why are they here? Xinyu and Shiryu, he put his finger on his lips and made a gesture of silence. Prince Yu's eyes were about to burst. Not long after, the imperial army in uniform appeared upstairs and took away Prince Yu, who had lost all his strength. Shang Junlin asked the leader of the imperial army to send the young master and young lady back. Before leaving, the woman in pink took a deep look at Xinyu. After that, in order to compensate the two people who were disturbed, the boss of Yingxing Tower specially prepared a table of new dishes for Xinyu and Shang Junlin. Jiang Huiqing dragged He Qingyu to eat. Xinyu originally intended to make friends with Jiang Huiqing, so he didn't refuse. Looking at the table full of dishes, Jiang Huiqing sighed with emotion. The boss of Yingxing Tower is really generous. If there's a chance, we can get to know each other. Xinyu replied casually. It's probably difficult. It's said that the boss of Yingxing Tower has a very powerful background. Even if it wasn't enough, it couldn't support the negative income expenses for the whole spring. Although they just met, Jiang Huiqing was very familiar with Xinyu. From time to time, he would say a few words to liven up the atmosphere. He Qingyu didn't talk much at first, but after chatting for a while, he gradually became more talkative. Only Shang Junlin rarely spoke. I didn't finish the fish just now. Xinyu regretted that the emperor had personally removed the bones for him. As soon as he finished speaking, a bowl of deboned fish was pushed in front of him. Xinyu looked up at Shang Junlin. He didn't miss the touch of gentleness in the man's eyes. Lin is so nice. After saying that, he started to eat the fish. After that, Jiang Huiqing saw the man feeding Xinyu in all kinds of ways. Finally, he couldn't help but ask, what's the relationship between you two? Even if they were biological brothers, There wouldn't be an elder brother who would take care of his younger brother like this. Xinyu thought for a while and said, "We have an arranged marriage." Chapter 46. Jiang Huiqing's chopsticks fell on the table with a clatter. The young man opened his mouth halfway and uttered a meaningless syllable. Shang Junlin's hand movements also paused. Only He Qingyu, who had already guessed the relationship between the two, reacted as usual. "Why are you surprised?" Xinyu looked at Jiang Huiqing, who was obviously shocked, and asked. "Not really," Jiang Huiqing smiled awkwardly. It's very sudden." In the short period of time they spent together, the man did not hide his possessiveness toward Xinyu. Xinyu also indulged the man's every move. Jiang Huiqing could see that the relationship between the two was not ordinary. The only thing he did not expect was that. "So you're already married?" Xinyu blinked. "I had no choice. My family kept urging me." "The two of you don't look like people who can be manipulated by their family." Jiang Huiqing was still in a daze. Xinyu smiled but did not say anything. In the second half of the meal, Jiang Huiqing ate without tasting the food. After the meal, Jiang Huiqing pulled He Qingyu to leave. He needed to digest the news he had just heard. Xinyu did not ask him to stay. There was no hurry to get to know him. "You seems to have a good impression of young Master Jiang." Shang Junlin took a handkerchief and slowly wiped his hands. "Is it that obvious? You've never treated anyone like this." Shang Junlin pointed out the truth. "Her Majesty doesn't want me to get to know other." Xinyu deliberately delayed for a while. When he saw Shang Junlin's body gradually tensed up, he said the last two words, "Young master?" "I'm enough for Guijun." Shang Junlin finished speaking and used the truth as an example. "It's not good to be like Prince Yu." "Ha ha ha." Xinyu was overjoyed. "Why did a Lin use Prince Yu as an example? Do you think I'll be like Prince Yu and get together with all kinds of people?" "That's not what I meant. He just didn't want to see young Master Jiang and young Master He appear beside Xinyu out of nowhere." "I know." Xinyu wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. "Alin, you can rest assured that I have no interest in opening a dye house." Speaking of the dye house, Xinyu remembers the woman who insulted the Prince of Yu until he was powerless to talk back. "Your Majesty, do you know anything about Miss Fang?" Shang Junlin was alarmed. "What are you trying to do?" "Your Majesty, what are you thinking about?" Xinyu asked. "I just feel that it's a waste of talent for this lady to not be able to contribute to Da Huan. But she is a woman." Shang Junlin frowned. Although the Great Huan dynasty was more liberal than other dynasties and had fewer restrictions on women, there was no precedent of a woman becoming an official. "Isn't it just a matter of a word from Your Majesty?" Xinyu thought for a moment. "Of course, you have to ask Miss Fang for her own opinion first." Xinyu remembered very clearly that in the era before Shen Qingran's time travel, women could also be independent. Since ancient times, there were many talented women. It was a waste for them to only be able to stay in the harem. Shang Junlin did have the intention of changing the imperial court for a new batch of blood. He seriously considered the feasibility of this matter. On the other side, Miss Fang returned to the Fang family under the escort of the imperial guards. Lord Fang was startled when he saw the well-trained imperial guards entering the house. "What did you do?" "Father, don't worry. I didn't cause any trouble. They are sending me back." "Father, please help me entertain them." Miss Fang quickly ran back to her room. "Miss, you're finally back. Next time you go out, don't leave me at home. I really can't handle Madam." I know, Miss Fang said perfunctorily. "Quickly give me a change of clothes. Don't bring those fancy ones." "My miss, isn't this pink dress very beautiful? It suits you very well." Her personal maid persuaded her. Her young miss was good at everything, but in terms of dressing and dressing, she really didn't look like a young girl. Other girls liked beautiful and bright colors, but her young miss didn't. She never liked colors and styles that were suitable for young girls. "Don't bring this kind of dress in front of me in the future." Miss Fang changed into her usual style. The maid couldn't persuade her, so she had to put the pink dress away. "Why did you change into a gray dress again?" Madame Fang heard that her daughter was back and hurried over. "Isn't the pink dress very good?" What's wrong? Didn't it go well? Madame Fong knew that her daughter specially dressed to see someone off. Don't say any more, mother. That person is a scumbag. Other than me, he invited a house full of young masters and misses. There are all kinds of people. Those who don't know will think that he is choosing a consort. Don't see him in the future. Madame Fong sighed. She said, "It's good that you have an idea." After dealing with the Imperial Guards, Lord Fong also rushed over. After knowing what happened, he patted his daughter's shoulder. "Prince Yu was wrong first. His Majesty won't be partial to Prince Yu." Miss Fong thought of the only two people who dared to confront Prince Yu after his identity was exposed. She said, "Father, can you tell me about His Majesty and Prince Yu?" "Why do you ask this?" "I heard that His Majesty is deeply in love with Prince Yu. I need to hear some touching love stories to comfort my hurt heart." Lord Fong's mouth twitched. He only saw the excitement on his daughter's face, but he didn't see any hurt on her face. However, Lord Fong cared about his daughter, so he didn't refuse. He told her what he knew one by one. He didn't notice his daughter's thoughtful gaze. "Miss Fong may have already guessed our identity, Your Majesty." Shen Yu followed behind Shang Junlin. Shang Junlin stopped and waited for Shen Yu to walk side by side with him. He held his hand that was hanging in his sleeve. "Yes." "Where are you taking me, Your Majesty?" Shen Yu let the man hold his hand and walked in an unfamiliar alley. "I'm taking you to the house where we will live during this time." Whether it was for safety reasons or other reasons, their identity was special. It was better to live in their own place. Afraid that Shen Yu would be unhappy, Shang Junlin thought for a while and added, "If you likes Yingxing Tower, we can go there tomorrow." The evening sun was not dazzling, but it brought a warm feeling. Shen Yu narrowed his eyes. When did His Majesty prepare it? Seeing that Shen Yu didn't express dissatisfaction with his arrangement, Shang Junlin was relieved. "I asked someone to prepare it after watching the fireworks last time. It seems that His Majesty also wants to go out of the palace with me." Shen Yu teased. "Yes, I want to go with you." The two strolled in the bluestone alley. There were faint voices of people. The branches and leaves of the plants beside the alley were green. Occasionally, there were a few birds chirping. It was spring. After passing through the alley, a red door came into view. Eunuch Meng, who had been waiting inside, opened the door. "The two masters are finally back. Everything in the house is ready." Shen Yu walked in curiously. The courtyard was not big, but it was unique everywhere. The corridors were full of vibrant green plants. Shen Yu walked around and was very satisfied with the small courtyard where they lived temporarily. Later, Eunuch Meng brought Shang Junlin's memorials to approve. Does His Majesty still need to be busy with official business when he comes out to play? Shen Yu sat opposite Shang Junlin with his chin in his hand. Shang Junlin looked at the memorials handed by the minister while talking to Shen Yu. Otherwise, it will pile up. After returning to the palace, it will be even busier. Some of it may be urgent to deal with. Shang Junlin picked up the next memorials and paused. It was presented by Fong Darren. Could it be about Prince Yu? The timing was too coincidental. Shen Yu subconsciously thought of what happened during the day. His Majesty, take a look. Guijun, come and look with Zhen. Shang Junlin invited him. Shen Yu was really curious about the contents of the memorials. He didn't refuse Shang Junlin's invitation and sat next to him. This soft couch is not as comfortable as the one in the palace. Due to the limitation of space, the soft couch was smaller than the one in the palace. Shen Yu had to be close to Shang Junlin to sit down. The two were close to each other. Their body temperature passed through their clothes. Shen Yu sat for a while and felt warm. He instantly changed his view of the soft couch. Shang Junlin was very satisfied with this distance. He secretly thought about the possibility of changing the soft couch in the palace to a smaller one. When he was arranging it, he only made a request. It must be comfortable and Guijun likes it. The specific arrangements were completed under the supervision of Eunuch Meng. After Shen Yu moved in, he changed the layout according to his own preferences. It became the current appearance of Yuzhong Palace. It had to be said that Shen Yu was a person who knew how to enjoy life. After Shang Junlin got used to living in Yuzhang Palace, he didn't want to go back to his own palace. Of course, he didn't deny that the most important reason was that Xinyu lived in Yuzhang Palace. After returning to the palace, does Guijun want to move to Zhen's palace? After asking, Shang Junlin felt that this proposal was good, encircling Xinyu into his territory. When he thought of that scene, Shang Junlin felt a sense of satisfaction. Why did your majesty suddenly mention this? Xinyu didn't understand how the topic jumped to this matter. At that time, Guijun can arrange the palace according to your preferences. Does Guijun have any dissatisfaction with Yuzhang Palace? Xinyu shook his head. He was very satisfied with Yuzhang Palace, not to mention, I am now criticized by the ministers. If I move to His Majesty's palace, who knows what those people will come up with? Guijun doesn't seem like someone who will compromise for these things. Where Guijun and Zhen live is our private matter. I believe that the ministers won't interfere too much. Shang Junlin's eyes darkened and added, even if there is, Zhen will make them not dare to say a word. Zhen's decision is not up to them to question. Xinyu knew that Shang Junlin meant what he said, but he didn't plan to move to Shang Junlin's palace at the moment. The distance was too close, far beyond his expectations. Does your majesty think that Yuzhang Palace is not good? Xinyu leaned on Shang Junlin's shoulder, reached out to open the memorial, and changed the topic. Your majesty, look at what Feng Darren said. The first half of the memorial talked about official business, but the second half of the memorial changed. It began to complain, denouncing Prince Yu as inhumane and deceiving many women to secretly shed tears for him. His words were sharp and could affect people's emotions. Xinyu looked at Feng Darren's criticism of Prince Yu without any vulgarities and was amused. This Feng Darren is quite interesting. Xinyu felt that if Feng Darren was present at that time, Prince Yu would definitely suffer a double blow. He finally knew why Miss Feng was so good at talking. It turned out that she was influenced by him since she was young. Shang Junlin was not interested in the matter between Feng Darren and Feng Darren's daughter. He just wanted to pack up Xinyu and bring him to his palace after returning. He absent-mindedly agreed with a few words, wrapped his arm around her flexible waist, and put his hand on Xinyu's abdomen. The man's palm was warm, and Xinyu was comfortably covered. She lazily leaned her whole body weight on Shang Junlin. Before he could continue talking about Feng Darren's daughter, the man's magnetic voice came from the top of her head. There is a baby here. Don't you think that you should give the baby's father a status? Xinyu, you can't let this matter pass. Chapter 47. Xinyu supported Shang Junlin's shoulders and sat up. He looked at him and asked, Your Majesty, what else do you want? Move in with me. But haven't we always lived together? Xinyu couldn't understand. Yuzhang Palace and the Emperor's bedroom are both in the palace. What's the difference? Shang Junlin looked at him stubbornly. He looked like a big dog that wanted to please its owner. Xinyu coughed and got rid of the unrealistic thoughts in his mind. He wrapped his arms around the man's neck and said, Your Majesty, do you know that people who are pregnant can't move to a strange place? Shang Junlin obviously didn't expect such a thing. His eyes widened. Haha. Xinyu couldn't control himself and laughed. Shang Junlin understood that Xinyu said it on purpose. Why are you unwilling to move? Shang Junlin leaned forward and brushed his nose against Xinyu's cheek. Yuzhang Palace is quite comfortable. Xinyu tilted his head slightly. Shang Junlin was helpless. He couldn't change Xinyu's decision even if he was the emperor. Sometimes, he couldn't help but wonder why Xinyu agreed to move into the palace. The Xinyu he knew wasn't someone who would be manipulated by others. Shang Junlin skipped this topic and went back to the memorial. He told Xinyu the information that the hidden dragon guards had found out. Miss Feng is official Feng's only child. Her personality is similar to official Feng's. She met Prince Yu when she fell in love for the first time. Xinyu said, Fortunately, we found out early. These women shouldn't have fallen deeply in love with Prince Yu. Otherwise, we would have committed a great sin. Shang Junlin said. After those women went back, they would quickly come out after seeing Prince Yu's true colors. Xinyu asked, Your Majesty, How do you plan to deal with Prince Yu? This was the main purpose of Official Fang's memorial. He criticized Prince Yu's behavior with sharp words and finally said that Prince Yu must be severely punished. Xin Yu agreed with Official Fang's point of view. We intend to hand over this matter to Lord Fang, Shang Junlin replied calmly. Xin Yu couldn't help but pat Shang Junlin's shoulder and praised. Your Majesty, it's a good idea. After Lord Fang submitted the memorial, he kept pacing back and forth in the courtyard. He knew that His Majesty probably wouldn't shield Prince Yu, but he was worried that His Majesty would have misgivings about the late Emperor's legacy. Life gently let go of this matter. Father, can you stop walking around? You're making me dizzy. Miss Fang played with the fan in her hand in boredom. Why don't you see who I'm worried about? Lord Fang stopped, like an angry pufferfish. Daughter knows that father is worried about daughter. Young Miss Fang hurriedly pacified him. Didn't father say that His Majesty would not tolerate Prince Yu? What do you know? Master Fang refused to say more. He had been working by His Majesty's side before His Majesty ascended the throne, so he knew some of the inside stories of the early years, such as the matters regarding Prince Yu. Before His Majesty's death, Shang Junlin had specifically ordered that unless he committed the crime of collaborating with the enemy and betraying the country, Shang Junlin was not allowed to harm Prince Yu's life for any reason. Otherwise, with Prince Yu's actions over the years, how could he live so freely? The old people who worked by Shang Junlin's side all knew that His Majesty had left behind many things for Prince Yu, some of which could even move the country's capital. They already knew that Shang Junlin was not favored by His Majesty, but after this incident, they deeply understood how much His Majesty disliked Shang Junlin. If Shang Junlin didn't control most of De Huan's army and make great contributions in recovering the country's territory, His Majesty wouldn't have relented and passed the throne to Shang Junlin. Even though His Majesty's throne eventually fell into Shang Junlin's hands, His Majesty still used all the methods at his disposal to annoy them. Over the years, Shang Junlin had turned a blind eye to many things, not because he was kept in the dark, but because it wasn't convenient for him to make a move at the moment. They had been searching for the forces left behind by His Majesty all these years, but unfortunately, those people were too well hidden, and they were unable to find anything. Master Fang sat across from Miss Fang and sighed. If you were a man, you would be able to serve His Majesty. His greatest regret in life was that his daughter was unable to serve His Majesty. His daughter was clever, brave, and resourceful. So how could she be inferior to a man? Father, you don't have to worry. Who said that a woman can't serve His Majesty? What do you want to do? Master Fang was instantly alarmed. I'm warning you, don't think about nonsense, and don't interfere with His Majesty's relationship with His Majesty. It was no wonder that Master Fang had such a big reaction. Since ancient times, there were only a few methods that women used to stir up power. The most convenient method was to enter the harem, use beauty as bait, and borrow the power of the harem to influence the court. Father, what are you thinking about? Miss Fang was shocked by her father's imagination. Is my brain muddled? Do I want to enter the harem? What I mean is, if men can enter the court as officials, why can't women? But this has never happened before. There will be after me. Miss Fang said in a calm tone, shocking everyone. Master Fang was speechless for a long time. Shang Junlin didn't send anyone to find Miss Fang. If she was interested, she would definitely take the initiative to come to him. Other than some reports that had to be dealt with, Shang Junlin spent the rest of his time with Xin Yu. Since he said that he wanted to go on an outing, he definitely wanted to go to the most popular outing spot in the suburbs of the capital. After leaving the palace, Xin Yu wasn't in a hurry to go to the farmstead. When he and Shang Junlin went out alone, they didn't bring Muxi and Eunuch Meng with them. Your Majesty, give Eunuch Meng and Muxi a vacation as well. It's not easy for them to leave the palace. Let them walk around. Shang Junlin nodded indifferently. Xin Yu hooked his finger and continued. That way Your Majesty and I will have a lot of time alone. Shang Junlin immediately ordered that the two of them be given a vacation. Xin Yu held Shang Junlin's hand and slowly walked out of the door. Muxi and Eunuch Meng were left looking at each other. Eunuch Meng was the eunuch who served Shang Junlin. Under normal circumstances, He wouldn't be too far away from Shang Junlin. Even if his master wanted to be alone, he would follow far behind. However, Shang Junlin was different from other emperors since he ascended the throne. In the first few years, eunuch Meng almost couldn't see Shang Junlin. In recent years, he had more time to serve Shang Junlin. Miss Mushi, do you have anywhere you want to go? Mushi nodded hesitantly. I want to see some of my friends who I used to know. I haven't had a chance to meet them since I entered the palace. Mushi went to meet the people she used to know in Count North Mansion alone. She successfully exchanged information with the people Shunyu left outside the palace. Miss Mushi. A slightly hesitant voice sounded behind her. Mushi was startled and turned around. It's Mr. Gu. Miss Mushi, did you come out with young Master Shin? Imperial physician Gu held the herbs in one hand and grabbed the sleeve of the young man in black beside him. Yes, just in time. I have a new prescription. Please bring it to your master, Miss Mushi. Imperial physician Gu divided the herbs in his hand and handed them to Mushi. Mushi took it. Please write Mr. Gu. Who is this beside Mr. Gu? It's my younger brother Gu Huai. Brother, is that Shin Guijuan's maid? After Mushi left, Gu Huai looked at the crowd and asked. Keep your voice down. Imperial physician Gu covered Gu Huai's mouth. That's Guijuan's personal maid. Guijun should have also left the palace. Is that so? Gu Huai lowered his eyes and hid the thoughtful look in his eyes. Shin Yu and Shang Junlin walked side by side on the street. This time they didn't go to the Yingxing Tower. Instead, they went to a side street specially opened for students. Shin Yu pulled Shang Junlin along as they walked and stopped. They were constantly attracted by the things on the street stalls. Most of the things sold here were various kinds of books. Come and take a look. Hey, we have the notes of the previous 3 years' high scholars. As long as you pay this amount. The stall owner gestured with his hand. You can choose any 5 books to read. Alin, let's go and take a look. It was the first time Shin Yu saw this kind of thing. He was quite interested and went over. The stall's business was good. There were many people around it. Shang Junlin put his arm around Shin Yu's shoulder and escorted him to the front of the stall. After paying the money for 2 people, the stall owner beamed with joy and took out a stack of books. You can choose as you wish. Shin Yu picked a book and opened it. The title page indicated that this book was written in XX year. Shin Yu opened a few more books. Without exception, the title page of these books all had the same indication. Seeing a familiar name, Shin Yu picked up the book and asked, Boss, are these really the notes of Fong Darren when he was preparing for the exam? Obviously, it was not the first time the stall owner had encountered such doubts. He explained very smoothly. What kind of things are these? They have a reputation for more than 10 years. They are absolutely authentic. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people coming to look at them. Rest assured, young master. The books here are all guaranteed. Before I came to the capital, the seniors in the school specially told me to come here. Us too. Shin Yu looked in the direction of the voice. It was a few young students who were talking. They were full of youthfulness and their eyebrows were full of wildness. I know. Thank you for your explanation. Shin Yu bowed to the opposite side. Seeing Shin Yu and Shang Junlin's extraordinary temperament, a few teenagers pushed each other and walked over. Are the 2 young masters also here for the exam? Shang Junlin's imposing manner made the teenagers not dare to talk casually. They also felt that Shin Yu's knowledge was extraordinary, so they didn't want to miss the opportunity to get to know him. Looking at the book in Shin Yu's hand, one of the teenagers who was more familiar with this place said, Young master, the book in your hand is written by Fong Darren in his early years, right? Shin Yu nodded. Fong Darren's style is still as elegant as before. We think so too. Several people nodded in unison. Especially Censor Zhang's case. Fong Darren really handled it beautifully. Shin Yu looked at these teenagers as if he was looking at children. You also heard about this case? It's written here. One of the teenagers grabbed the book in his companion's hand and handed it to Shin Yu. Shin Yu flipped through it. The book not only wrote about Censor Zhang's case but also some other cases. The more they pestered Shin Yu to talk, the colder Shang Junlin's aura became. Several of them pulled Shin Yu to talk for a while, But they couldn't stand Shang Junlin's cold aura anymore. So they said goodbye. Shin Yu pulled Shang Junlin's cold face to the corner and boldly poked the man's cold face. Your Majesty is an adult. How can you be jealous of a few children? Shin Yu wanted to laugh when he thought of Shang Junlin's small action of secretly declaring his ownership, and the scene where those children didn't realize anything was wrong. Shang Junlin didn't say anything and pulled Shin Yu's arm into his arms. Looking at the delicate skin in front of him, his eyes gradually darkened. Your Majesty, ouch. Shin Yu felt pain on the side of his neck. He was bitten. Chapter 48. The teenagers left reluctantly, but they were still reluctant to leave. One of them couldn't help but look back to see why there was a big block of ice next to the kind young master. He cried out in surprise at the unexpected scene. Why are you so surprised? His companion was dissatisfied. No, they. The teenager was incoherent. Their conversation attracted the attention of the others, and they all stopped. What's wrong? What happened? Look for yourselves. The teenager pointed in the direction they left. When they saw the scene in the corner, they all widened their eyes. Under the low wall, a young man in white was held in the arms of a tall man in black. From their angle, they could only see the man bending over the young man's neck. The young man showed an unbearable expression. Black and white clothes intertwined, and under the light and shadow, they seemed to be one. After a long time, someone found his voice. He seemed to understand why they weren't welcomed. So this is the relationship between the two young masters. See no evil, see no evil. Let's pretend we didn't see anything. The mottled light and shadow fell on top of his head. Shin Yu couldn't help but squint, not knowing if it was because of the light or some other reason. His fragile skin was red, but Shang Junlin still refused to let go. The tip of his teeth gently pricked his skin. Compared to the pain, it was more indescribable. Someone lit a fire under his skin, and the fire spread to all parts of his body. Shin Yu was being ground bit by bit, and his strength was being taken away bit by bit. The arm around Shin Yu's waist was strong and reliable, supporting him so that he wouldn't slide down. Shin Yu couldn't help but stretch out his arms to prevent himself from falling. The corner they were in was very remote. People came and went from the outside, so no one noticed this place. However, just because no one noticed, it didn't mean that they didn't care. Shin Yu listened to the sound from time to time, and the sound of footsteps walking back and forth. The nervousness of being discovered at any time made it harder for him to control himself. His neck was marked by the man as if it was his territory. Everywhere he touched, a gorgeous flower bloomed. Your Majesty, someone will come. Shin Yu found his voice with difficulty and said. Only then did he realize that his voice was very hoarse. To Shang Junlin, this kind of voice was like adding fuel to the fire. The arm around his waist instantly tightened, and a sharp pain came from his neck. Shin Yu suppressed the exclamation that was about to overflow from her mouth. She clenched her teeth tightly and slowly curled her fingers that were grabbing the black robe. Is there someone over there? It seems like there is. Let's go and take a look. The sudden sound and approaching footsteps woke Shin Yu up. He grabbed a strand of hair that had fallen beside his hand and pulled it hard. Shang Junlin stopped discontentedly. He took off his cloak and wrapped it tightly around Shin Yu. At the same time, the person who spoke had already reached the entrance of the alley. There's really someone. Shin Yu was shielded behind Shang Junlin. Hearing the familiar voice, he pulled the cloak that covered his face and poked his head out from behind Shang Junlin. They were Jiang Huiqing and He Yu, whom he had met once. Hey, it's young Master Yu and young Master Lin. Jiang Huiqing and Shin Yu felt like old friends at first sight. Seeing that it was the two of them, he wanted to come over and talk about old times. He Yu saw that the atmosphere between the two of them was obviously not right. He tried to stop Jiang Huiqing, but failed. He could only helplessly follow them. Shin Yu also took this opportunity to calm his breathing, and walked out from behind Shang Junlin. He was wearing Shang Junlin's black cloak. A small part of the cloak was hanging on the ground, which somewhat affected his movements. Shin Yu had to lift the front part up a little. Young master, you looks very healthy today. Jiang Huiqing's eyes lit up when he saw Xinyu. With snow-white skin and black hair, there was a faint blush on his face. Under the contrast of the black cloak, his skin looked even fairer. Shang Junlin coldly glanced at the newcomers and reached out to wrap his arms around Xinyu's waist. Jiang Huiqing didn't understand and whispered, "Why does young Master Lin look like he doesn't want to see us? Did I inadvertently do something that made him unhappy?" He Qingyu heard Jiang Huiqing's doubts and couldn't help but twitch his forehead. How big must his heart be to not be able to see such an obvious thing? It was obvious that they had interrupted the two's private matter, and that was why they were disliked by one of the protagonists. Compared to Shang Junlin's displeasure, Xinyu was very glad that Jiang Huiqing had come. Otherwise, his neck would have suffered more. Without looking at Xinyu, he could guess, because his neck probably couldn't be seen right now. He didn't expect that Shang Junlin, who was jealous, would do such an irrational thing. Xinyu felt that he had to be more careful in the future. He couldn't think that he could be fearless in public. It was proven that a man who was provoked didn't have much rationality. Since they had met, Xinyu wanted to make friends with Jiang Huiqing, so the four of them walked together. "Aren't you the two young masters from before? You haven't finished reading your books yet. Do you want to continue reading? Or do you want to save the number and come back next time?" The bookstall owner saw them and greeted them warmly. It was no wonder that he could recognize the two of them in the crowd. Compared with the group of young students, the two of them had a unique temperament. He had traveled extensively for many years and didn't lack eyesight. "You can do that?" Xinyu was surprised. How can the owner be sure that the next person who comes back will be the one who didn't finish reading the books last time? "We have a special plate." The owner took out a stack of plates that looked like white jade. "Before the customer leaves, you can take a plate. The next time you come back, you can use the plate to borrow the books you didn't finish last time." The plate was about 1 finger long and 2 fingers wide. It was jade-colored. Xinyu took a piece and weighed it in his hand. "It's not jade. It's called jade-like stone. Its appearance is very similar to white jade," Shang Junlin explained. "Generally, women from less wealthy families like to use this kind of stone as headwear." This young master is right. This kind of stone is almost impossible to see in rich families. However, because of its appearance, it is very popular among the common people, the bookstall owner echoed. "Although that's the case, the ones here are of high quality. Generally, jade-like stone doesn't have such a transparent texture." Shang Junlin touched the plate in Xinyu's hand and concluded, "Young master, you have good eyesight. This batch is specially customized. It has anti-counterfeiting dark patterns engraved on it. This can prevent imitations from appearing," the owner said. Xinyu took the plate and pointed it at the sunlight. Sure enough, he saw that there were different patterns in the 4 corners. "This is a good idea." Jiang Huiqing and He Qingyu had just arrived. It was still early, so Xinyu was not in a hurry to leave. He decided to stay for a while. Shang Junlin had always allowed Xinyu to do whatever he wanted. Even if he was unhappy that Xinyu was disturbed, he did not say anything. Xinyu was very interested in the books that recorded various cases that the teenagers had taken out. Interesting, he asked the owner to find it and slowly read it. After reading a few pages, Xinyu felt that this book was different from the files of the Supreme Court. This book was more like a storybook. The whole case was described in the style of the spring and autumn annals. There were also many interesting stories added in. Seeing that Xinyu was more interested in the dialogue books, the owner mysteriously took out a wooden box and said, "Young master, do you want to take a look inside? I guarantee that you will like it." Xinyu's curiosity was aroused. He leaned over and whispered to the owner, "What's inside?" "Young master, are you more interested in the dialogue books? It's full of stories and—" The owner deliberately paused to make it mysterious. "It's all about 2 men." Xinyu didn't understand. How did he become someone who was interested in the novel where the protagonists were 2 men in the boss's eyes? "Young master and the black-clothed young master are a couple, right?" The owner had an "I understand" expression. "It's nothing. After all, Her Majesty also likes men." By the way, there are also short stories about Her Majesty and Guijun in this box. It's the most popular one among all the books. He clearly saw that the black-clothed young man was very protective of the young man in front of him. Besides that kind of relationship, who else would be so protective of a person of the same gender as himself? Xinyu did not expect that one day he would be sold a book about himself and Her Majesty as the protagonists. He could not help but feel a little curious. He called Her Majesty over. "Alin, come here." Xinyu was called aside by the owner of the bookstall. Although Shang Junlin was reluctant, he did not force himself to come over because he had just done something bad. When he heard Xinyu's voice, he immediately put down the book in his hand and walked over. Jiang Huiqing and He Qingyu were reading books not far away. When they saw this scene, he leaned over to He Qingyu. "Brother Qingyu, don't you think that young Master Lin is too obedient to young Master Yu? They are husband and wife." He Qingyu reminded him without raising his head. "Yes, I almost forgot." Jiang Huiqing scratched his head and realized in hindsight. "Ah? Did we disturb them just now? What do you think?" He Qingyu looked at the slow-witted guy from the book. No wonder young Master Lin looked at him with such a terrifying gaze. Should I go and apologize? Although he did not know what he had specifically interrupted, Jiang Huiqing's keen intuition told him that it was better for him not to know. He Qingyu raised his head and looked at the two people standing together intimately. He sincerely gave his opinion. "I think it's better if you don't disturb them." Jiang Huiqing thought about it and agreed. He should find a time to apologize to young Master Yu alone in the future. That young Master Lin, he inexplicably felt a little scared. Unable to resist the bookstall owner's enthusiasm, when Shang Junlin came over, Xinyu had a few more books in his hands. Seeing Shang Junlin standing beside Xinyu, the bookstall owner enthusiastically stuffed a few books into his hands. Shang Junlin opened a few pages and silently turned his head to look at Xinyu. The characters in the book were all pseudonyms, but it was not difficult to see that the two protagonists in the book were him and Xinyu when they were connected to some very specific events. Xinyu looked at the various books in the box. "Boss, actually your family specializes in selling novels, right?" The bookstall owner smiled shyly. Young Master Lin really has discerning eyes. After all, other books can only be sold once every 3 years, but novels can be sold every day. Just look at the books in young Master Lin's hands. There are many people who buy them. Xinyu was speechless. When he looked back at Shang Junlin, he thought that he would be angry. Unexpectedly, Shang Junlin did not show any signs of anger. Instead, he was quite interested in these books and even began to discuss them with the bookstall owner. In the end, Shang Junlin bought all the novels in the bookstall owner's hands. The bookstall owner beamed with joy and gave them a booklet with a black cover. He laughed and said, "This is good stuff. Maybe you can use it." Xinyu's attention was on the novels, so he did not notice that Shang Junlin quickly put the booklet into his sleeve. "Your Majesty, why do you want to buy these novels?" "To observe and learn," Shang Junlin answered concisely. Chapter 49. After buying the books, Xinyu bid farewell to Jiang Huiqing and He Qingyu. Jiang Huiqing was still embarrassed by what happened just now, so he didn't say anything to persuade Xinyu to stay. They arranged to meet again in the suburbs of the capital, and then parted ways. After returning, Shang Junlin placed the books neatly on the desk. After the awkward moment, Xinyu also became curious about these books. He casually took a book, sat on the soft couch, and opened it. "Let me see what your Majesty intends to learn from these books." Shang Junlin also took a book and sat beside Xinyu. "Naturally, I want to learn how the emperor asked the noble to sleep with him every night." Cough cough. Xinyu choked on his own saliva. Yes, the books were mixed with bold conjectures. The lives of the noble and the emperor were colorful. Xinyu reasonably suspected that the reason why the novels were so popular was related to these colorful lives. "Be careful, noble." Shang Junlin patted Xinyu's back. Xinyu couldn't sit still anymore. He grabbed the book from Shang Junlin's hand and put it aside. "Your Majesty, you should know that the stories in the books are all fake. I can't have dangerous thoughts." The temperature in the room was high. Xinyu felt that his neck was a little itchy. so he reached out to scratch it. Shang Junlin suddenly grabbed Shen Yu's hand, and his eyes gradually darkened. What's wrong? You're bleeding. Shang Junlin bit the lower part of Shen Yu's neck. As Shen Yu moved, the collar slid down slightly, revealing a mottled area. After a period of time, the red color became more and more shocking. Among the red marks, several obvious wounds were exposed, and blood was oozing out. Shang Junlin grabbed Shen Yu's hand with one hand and reached out to Shen Yu's neck with the other hand. He gently touched it. Does it hurt? Look at what your majesty has done. Shen Yu pretended to be angry and glanced at him. It's my fault. Shang Junlin took the initiative to admit his mistake. Looking at Shen Yu, who was surrounded by young people, and seeing Shen Yu talking to those young people with a smile, Shang Junlin couldn't help but feel a burst of anger. He wanted Shen Yu to only smile at him, and all the emotions were caused by him. In the face of millions of enemy troops, Shen Yu's words had caused their strategy to collapse. Their proud self-control was even more vulnerable. Your Majesty, you don't have to apologize. Shen Yu looked at Shang Junlin's slightly angry eyes and said, Your Majesty, please help me apply the medicine. The medicine was prepared in advance. Shang Junlin took the ointment commonly used in Shen Yu Meridian and applied it little by little. He applied it to the wound. The cooling ointment quickly resolved the discomfort of the wound. The wound on his neck looked scary, but it didn't hurt that much. He didn't feel anything after applying the ointment. After playing for a day, the palace sent a new batch of memorials. Shang Junlin was busy with official business, so Shen Yu didn't want to disturb him and strolled out. Eunuch Meng was waiting in the room. Shen Yu called Mushi over. How did it go? Young master, don't worry. It's all done. Mushi went out because she received Shen Yu's orders. She was to contact the people in the farmstead and pass on Shen Yu's orders to them. She also arranged to go to the farmstead while she was at it. By the way, young master, this servant met Imperial Physician Gu on the street today. Mushi thought of another matter and said, Imperial Physician Gu asked this servant to bring the new medicine to young master. Imperial Physician Gu's home was outside the palace, so it was normal to meet him. Shen Yu didn't take it to heart. Imperial Physician Gu took Gu Huai home and simply tidied up the courtyard. Gu Huai suddenly asked, Brother, what kind of person is Shen Guijun? Why are you asking this? Imperial Physician Gu watered the herbs that were growing well. I'm very curious. Gu Huai squatted beside Imperial Physician Gu. Brother, even Mushio is busy with Shen Guijun's matter. He must be a very good person. Guijun is indeed a very good person. If there's a chance in the future, I'll take you to meet him. Late at night, Gu Huai quietly went out of the room. The man in black who had been waiting outside knelt down and said, Master. Gu Huai asked, How's the investigation going? The man in black replied, Replying to Master, this subordinate has received accurate information. His Majesty and Guijun are now outside the palace. This subordinate is incompetent and couldn't find their specific residence. Gu Huai said, It's not your fault. If you could easily find out, he wouldn't be Shang Junlin. The man in black said, This subordinate also found out that there's some movement on a mountain in the suburbs of the capital recently. Gu Huai said, Tell me the specific location. The man in black said, Sangqi Mountain. Sangqi Mountain? Gu Huai lowered his eyes and pondered. No matter whether the two planned to go to Sangqi Mountain or not, he had to go and take a look. Shang Junlin finished dealing with the government affairs for the day and handed over the matter of Prince Yu to Fong Darren. Fong Darren was stunned when he received the imperial edict. He originally wanted His Majesty to teach Prince Yu a lesson, but he didn't expect that Prince Yu's matter would fall on his head. No. Isn't it very good? Miss Fong said while eating melon seeds. His Majesty gave this matter to you, which means that in His Majesty's eyes, Prince Yu is nothing at all. You can deal with him however you want. But Fong Darren was still a little worried. His Majesty doesn't care. What is father worried about? If it's really as father thinks, dealing with Prince Yu's matter won't fall on father's head. You're right. It's father who is stunned. If there was a problem, His Majesty would definitely remind him. Since the matter was handed over to him, he must do it beautifully. Feng Darren went to deal with Prince Yu's matter energetically. Miss Feng wanted to see the two young masters who helped her out of the Yingxing Tower that day. So she found Jiang Huiqing. Jiang Huiqing happened to be looking for an opportunity to apologize to Xinyu in person. The two hit it off and decided to meet Xinyu together. Fortunately, before they parted last time, Xinyu left Jiang Huiqing away to find him. It didn't take them much effort to contact Xinyu. When Mu Shi told Xinyu the news, Xinyu was a little surprised. Xinyu put down the pen in his hand. Why did they come together? It should be that Miss Feng couldn't find a way to contact us, so she found Jiang Huiqing through the Yingxing Tower, Shang Junlin said. It didn't take much effort to find out that they ate together that day. Your Majesty, are we going to meet her? If you wants to go, we'll go. Shang Junlin gave the choice to Xinyu. Then let's meet. Xinyu was a little interested in Miss Feng. The meeting place was still set at the Yingxing Tower. This time, to discuss business, they chose a private room where they wouldn't be disturbed. When Xinyu and Shang Junlin arrived, Jiang Huiqing had already chatted with Miss Feng for a while. For convenience, Miss Feng wore neutral clothes today. Her makeup was also different from last time. She looked very valiant. Xinyu and Shang Junlin sat down together. Jiang Huiqing was about to say something, but he swallowed it silently. He'd better wait. I invited you without permission to thank the two young masters for helping me out last time. I hope you won't blame me. Miss Feng spoke first. It's nothing. You don't have to thank me, Xinyu said. The waiter quietly left after serving the dishes. Jiang Huiqing was just introducing Miss Feng. He knew that Miss Feng had something to discuss with Xinyu and Shang Junlin, so he didn't stay for long and said goodbye. Young Master Yu, may I have a word with you? Shang Junlin's eyes turned to Jiang Huiqing. Feeling the cold gaze on him, Jiang Huiqing wanted to cry. He really didn't do it on purpose last time. Wasn't that why he came to apologize? Xinyu patted Shang Junlin's arm with amusement, stood up, and walked to the side with Jiang Huiqing. This time, besides being entrusted by Miss Feng, I also want to apologize to young Master Yu in person. Last time, I really didn't know you were cough cough. I'm really sorry to disturb you. Jiang Huiqing struggled to finish his words under the unkind gaze. Xinyu secretly said, Fortunately you came. Otherwise, I don't know how long Shang Junlin will continue. But he said, so it's because of this. We didn't pay attention. You don't have to apologize to me for this. Jiang Huiqing didn't expect Xinyu to be so calm about this kind of thing. He couldn't help but blush. It's our fault. I wish you two love each other until your hair turns white. Halfway through his words, Jiang Huiqing accidentally saw the red mark on Xinyu's neck. He didn't eat pork, but he had seen pigs run. He suddenly stopped. After hurriedly saying a few auspicious words, Jiang Huiqing left as if he was escaping. Xinyu, who had never seen Jiang Huiqing so energetic, couldn't help but laugh. Xinyu returned to Shang Junlin's side and sat down. Shang Junlin's attention was always on him. He wanted to ask what Jiang Huiqing said to make Xinyu laugh. But because Miss Feng was present, he didn't ask. Commoner Feng Jie greets your Majesty and your Highness. No need to be so polite. How did you guess our identity? Xinyu was curious. There are only a few people who dare to not be afraid of the nobility. You two really didn't feel any fear because of the identity of the Prince of Yu. Presumably, your identity is not lower than the Prince of Yu. Looking at your close relationship, I can roughly guess your identity. Feng Jie answered in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. Oh. Xinyu looked up with interest. Then how did Miss Feng determine our identity? Because His Majesty gave the matter of the Prince of Yu to my father. Miss Feng came to His Majesty and me not just to thank us in person, right? This commoner wants a chance. Feng Jie knelt down. This commoner wants a chance to compete fairly with men. Shang Junlin held Xinyu's wrist and didn't say anything. In the silence, Feng Jiaoyi opened her mouth again. This commoner knows that this commoner's request may be a bit outrageous. But this commoner believes that there are definitely many women in the world like this commoner. Their ambition is to rule the world, and not to stay in the harem. Shang Junlin's tone was very slow. Do you know that it is very difficult to achieve this? This commoner knows. But this commoner wants to fight with fate for myself and for the many women in the world who have the same ambition as this commoner. Fang Jiayi's face was resolute as she said this. Her eyes were shining brightly. Xinyu poked Shang Junlin. Shang Junlin said, I can give you this opportunity. Whether you can seize it or not depends on you. Thank you, Your Majesty. What does Your Majesty think Fang Jiayi will do? Xinyu asked after returning to the small courtyard. You will know when you see it. The first obstacle is probably Fang Darren. I don't know how Fang Darren will react when he finds out that his daughter went to His Majesty. Xinyu said. This is something that the Fang family needs to worry about. Shang Junlin was obviously more concerned about another matter. He hugged the youth from behind and rubbed the tip of his nose against the side of the youth's neck. First, tell me what Jiang Huiqing said to you. Xinyu found that Shang Junlin was very obsessed with his neck recently. He often wanted to leave a mark on it. What does Your Majesty think he said to me? Xinyu dodged to the side and was caught by the man. What did he say to make Your Majesty smile so happily, Chapter 50. Of course it's. Xinyu deliberately paused. I wish that Your Majesty and I will be together for 100 years. What else does Your Majesty think it is? Xinyu's voice was full of ridicule. Shang Junlin heard it and immediately felt his teeth itch. Considering that the wound on Xinyu's neck had not healed, Shang Junlin only rubbed it lightly. Guijun, please speak properly. Oh right, there's one more thing. He came to apologize to me, Xinyu added. Apologize? Jiang Huiqing did something to hurt you? Shang Junlin rested his head on Xinyu's shoulder. When he spoke, his warm breath sprayed onto Xinyu's neck. It's because of what happened last time. Did Your Majesty forget? That day in a remote alley. I remember now, Shang Junlin interrupted Xinyu. When he mentioned what happened that day, Shang Junlin's face flushed. He should apologize. What happened that day was because Your Majesty didn't care about the occasion. Why did you ask someone else to apologize? Because he disturbed my time with Guijun, Shang Junlin muttered in a low voice. Xinyu turned around in Shang Junlin's arms, so that they were facing each other. He pointed at Shang Junlin's shoulder with his index finger. Your Majesty, don't you feel that there's something wrong with your state? What's wrong? Shang Junlin frowned. Isn't Your Majesty too concerned about my matters? Xinyu pointed out. Yu is my Guijun and has a marriage contract with me. Is there anything wrong with me caring about Yu? Shang Junlin tightened his arm around Xinyu's waist. Xinyu was speechless. At first glance, there was nothing wrong with what Shang Junlin said. But when he thought about it carefully, there was something wrong with it. Shang Junlin didn't give Xinyu much time to think and continued. What do you think? Xinyu opened his mouth and gave up thinking. Your Majesty is right. There's nothing wrong with that. Lord Fang has made some progress. Would you like to take a look? Shang Junlin knew when to stop and when to stop, so he changed the topic after getting the results he wanted. Xinyu was surprised. Official Fang is so fast? It had only been a few days since Shang Junlin handed over the matter of Prince Yu to Official Fang. It seemed that Official Fang really loved his daughter dearly. Not only Lord Fang, but the other women as well. The family also intervened. Shang Junlin exerted force in his arms and picked Xinyu up. Your Majesty. Xinyu was caught off guard as his feet left the ground. Don't worry, I won't hurt Guijun. Shang Junlin carried Xinyu to the soft couch and put her down. Next time Your Majesty wants to do something, can you tell me first? I'll try my best. Shang Junlin sat down beside Xinyu. Your Majesty said that there were other families involved. What's going on? Which families are involved? Xinyu crossed her legs and leaned on Shang Junlin's shoulder. Aristocratic families value their reputation very much. Prince Yu's action has undoubtedly violated a big taboo of aristocratic families. Whether it is for the sake of their family's reputation, or to express their attitude to me, they will spare no effort to take action. Shang Junlin adjusted her posture, so that Xinyu could lean more comfortably. Xinyu let Shang Junlin do whatever he wanted. That's right. Most of the people who confronted Prince Yu that day are from aristocratic families. Prince Yu's goal was the families behind those women. If they were ordinary women, Prince Yu wouldn't bother to get to know them personally. What about those women? Xinyu asked. Shang Junlin was puzzled. What's wrong? Xinyu said. I just thought of another problem. Aristocratic families value their reputation. The behavior of those women is undoubtedly a disgrace to their families. If they encounter a more ruthless family, I'm afraid they won't let those women have a good end. Don't worry, Gujun. When I asked the Imperial Army to send them back, I already warned those families. Asking the Imperial Army to personally send those women back had already shown Shang Junlin's attitude. Anyone who was a little smarter wouldn't lay their hands on their daughters under such circumstances. Your Majesty is really thoughtful. Xinyu rubbed Shang Junlin's shoulder. This time, Prince Yu won't be able to escape unscathed. Xinyu didn't hide his disgust for Prince Yu. He rarely concealed his true feelings in front of Shang Junlin. The more he was like this, the deeper Shang Junlin liked him. What Shang Junlin liked was never the gentle and polite legitimate son of Duke Xinbei, who knew when to advance and when to retreat. Instead, he liked Xinyu, who showed his true temperament in front of him. I can't take Prince Yu's life for the time being. But this time, he won't be able to return unscathed. Shang Junlin played with Xinyu's fingers as if he was talking about an insignificant matter. With official Feng and Miss Yu's help, he won't have an easy time. Xinyu didn't ask for the reason. Just like he had secrets that he couldn't tell Shang Junlin, Shang Junlin also had things that he couldn't say. That's true. With the cooperation of the aristocratic families, official Feng found a lot of interesting things. Shang Junlin took out a booklet and opened it for Xinyu to see. Xinyu lazily leaned on Shang Junlin's body and read the contents of the booklet while listening to him. Prince Yu has been playing dirty tricks these years. He buried a lot of spies in the capital. Official Feng took people to pull out these spies. Some of the families who were on good terms with Prince Yu also abandoned the Rook to save the king after seeing the situation clearly. They unilaterally cut off all contact with Prince Yu. It seems that Prince Yu's many years of operation have been in vain. Xinyu sighed. I don't care what he wants to do. In my place, he has to follow my rules. Official Feng's work was progressing very smoothly. It was as if someone was secretly handing him clues step by step. Fearing that there might be a trap, Official Feng paid careful attention to it. He didn't find anything wrong, but he remembered this suspicious point. Prince Yu was imprisoned in the dark prison and lost all contact with the outside world. At this moment, he didn't know that his many years of arrangements in the capital were about to be destroyed by Official Feng. The more information Official Feng found, the more shocked he was. Finally, he couldn't sit still and personally asked to see Shang Junlin. Official Feng came to the small courtyard in the afternoon. Xinyu was taking an afternoon nap. In order not to disturb him, Shang Junlin chose to meet Official Feng outside. Official Feng first reported the progress during this period of time, and then pointed out the suspicious points he found. I think that there should be a force secretly handing over clues to me. You didn't find out who they are? Shang Junlin knocked on the table with his knuckles. I'm incompetent. Official Feng lowered his head in shame. Tell me. I tried to find clues to trace that force, but they hid too well. I couldn't find any traces at all. I even suspected that I was overthinking. But there shouldn't be such a coincidence in the world. Prince Yu has been operating in the capital for so many years, and he also had the help of the late emperor. If they could find out so easily, it would be the most suspicious thing. Shang Junlin also agreed with this point. He slowed down his knocking on the table. In addition, they have other plans. Did they do anything else? No. Xinyu woke up from his sleep and heard the conversation between Shang Junlin and Official Feng outside. The corners of his mouth curled up. If there was anyone in the world who knew about Prince Yu's forces, it would be Xinyu. In his previous life, in order to help Prince Yu, he knew the distribution of some of Prince Yu's forces better than Prince Yu himself. Mushi, young master, you're awake? Hearing the sound, Mushi walked in from outside. Xinyu got dressed and got out of bed. Tomorrow, I'll let Her Majesty go to the country residence to play for a day. I'll go prepare now. Mushi understood the meaning behind Xinyu's words. Before leaving the palace, Xinyu instructed Mushi to do some things and gave her some letters. He asked her to find an opportunity to deliver the letters to the people in the country residence without arousing any suspicion. After leaving the palace, Xinyu used the excuse that he wanted to be alone with Shang Junlin, and did not bring the palace servants out to play. Mushi used the excuse that she wanted to buy things and meet her friends. She was only Xinyu's servant, and the hidden dragon guards would not pay too much attention to her. After confirming that there was no problem, Mushi let her guard down. At this time Mushi secretly sent out the letters. There was not much important information in the letters. The real plan had already been deployed before entering the palace. Xinyu was waiting for the perfect opportunity, when official Fang thoroughly investigated Prince Yu. With the help of official Fang, Prince Yu's forces would be discovered in advance. Other than the fact that it would be too smooth, there would not be any suspicious points. This was because his people did not really participate in the plan, and only revealed some clues. Now it seemed that the plan was going smoothly. Well, remember to prepare the snacks that you mentioned to me last time. I will bring His Majesty to taste them. Xinyu washed his face. Shang Junlin heard the noise and came in. Your Majesty, you are awake? His Majesty is busy with political affairs? Is there a minister outside? Xinyu looked outside the door. It's official Fang. He has finished. He will go back by himself. Official Fang, who was left behind, stood in the courtyard with a blank face. Eunuch Meng smiled and walked forward. Official Fang, please go back. After thinking about it, Official Fang had finished what he wanted to say. There was no need to stay. Official Fang turned and left. Your Majesty, where are we going today? Xinyu looked away and asked excitedly. To Sangqi Mountain. Sangqi Mountain. The mountain was located in the northern suburbs of the capital. The scenery was beautiful. Every year, many people invited their relatives and friends to go for a spring walk and enjoy the scenery. Sangqi Mountain was not far from where they lived. After an hour, the carriage stopped. This time, they brought a few palace servants with them. The palace servants went to arrange a place to rest. Xinyu and Shang Junlin walked and strolled. The sun was bright and the breeze was warm. Looking around, there were all kinds of flowers dotted in the green. Occasionally, a few young women walked by happily. They were more beautiful than the flowers. There were students gathered by the river, drinking and composing poems. Xinyu saw Jiang Huiqing and He Qingyu. Considering Shang Junlin's mood, he did not go over. The two walked through the crowd together. Listening to the laughter around them, they were in a good mood. How nice it would be if I could be so comfortable every day. Xinyu sighed. If you likes it, we will come again next time. Will it be too troublesome? After all, he was the emperor. This kind of thing that was easy for ordinary people to do was more than a little troublesome for them. If Xinyu likes it, it doesn't matter if it is a little troublesome. Shang Junlin looked at the smile on Xinyu's face and thought secretly. Be careful. A gust of wind came. Shang Junlin did not have time to think. He held Xinyu and turned around. Ah! There were screams all around. Xinyu saw a man in gray pass by quickly through Shang Junlin's shoulder. For some reason, Xinyu's heart jumped. The hand on Shang Junlin's arm unconsciously tightened. Your Majesty! Thinking that Xinyu was frightened, Shang Junlin stroked his back and comforted him. Don't be afraid. Xinyu calmed down, but he still could not ignore the palpitations in his heart. Who was that man? Why did he appear here? You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.